want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience. Boil up with a cold hard hatred. I can feel the vibration. Feet in the streets, it's a new sensation. I wanna break faces on the pavement. I wanna make greatness look complacent. Adrenaline awakened, I can taste it. We can make an impact, grab and then take it. Like a disease, bring them to their knees. Taste their disease. Just like a weed, spread into the streets. Time to make them bleed. 'Cause we just want retribution. Let's go light up the darkness. Make true of an empty promise. Flip cards into weak and harmless. Take to the streets and turn them to a mosh pit. 'Cause we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the H-Cast, Season 3, Episode 160. So, we've got quite a show for you today. There's actually quite a few topics, to be fair. Sonic 3 trailer dropped earlier. It's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but it's worth talking about just because pretty major players. And this is one of those interesting things where the studio actually listened to the audience. So, it's worth talking about, I think. We've got Kathleen Kennedy, maybe firing people. That's always fun, isn't it? Are they learning? Probably not. We've got The Crow. It bombed. Not a surprise. Culture doesn't really want to talk about that, but we're going to anyway. And Alien Romulus box office. Interesting. We'll take a look at that. The Acolyte as well. We'll take a look at that. And some sort of rumors that there's more stuff in the works. This is all rumor. But yeah, lots going on, ladies and gents. Lots going on. So we're at Season 3 of the H-Cast. Okay. Now, at the end of each H-Cast, your favorite podcast, you've probably seen it. Anyway, there's a closing credits where everyone who supports the show on a regular basis, supports the channel on a regular basis, gets included in the closing credits. Now, you can get your name included in that by becoming a member of the channel or a Patreon. And you get included in the closing credits. Now, we're going to be crossing over into Season 4 soon. So you basically have a chance to get your name immortalized in our closing credits of this show, your favorite show, for the next 4 months. So if you would like to, and obviously help keep the lights on here, because this is funded by you guys for you guys, please do check out either YouTube memberships or check out Patreon. I will say, preference is Patreon because YouTube does take 30% of your membership as well. So if you can become a patron of the channel, support the show, support the channel, you get benefits on Patreon as well as membership. But again, Patreon is better. And then you'll get your name included in the closing credits of the show. So pretty cool. If you could, that'd be great. Some links will be posted in the chat right now, I'm sure, by our fantastic moderators. Anyway, that quick shilling out the way. The other way to support the show today and get your voice heard is super chats. Same setup. You can send a super chat via YouTube. They do take 30% though. And as a result of that, I will encourage you to please do send your super chat via Streamlabs instead. Streamlabs doesn't take that percentage. It's actually like a minuscule percentage. So it's better for you guys, better for me. Overall, you can say a little bit more for your money, which is always great. And obviously, YouTube doesn't take 30%. So that's always good as well. Outside of that, I don't think there's much else really for me to say. Hit thumbs up button. There you go. And check out the second channel, Miss H Reviews Live Archives. But anyway, let's bring on Culture Casino. How
Hey.
are you doing? Good
Extraordinary. Yeah, we're coming up on season 4. I can't believe it. Very excited. We were talking about that a little bit before we got started today, and we've got we've got some other fun things that we're going to be working on here in the future, I imagine. And I'm working on some great stuff. I've got that game place up and going full speed. We're getting massive amounts of subscribers coming up. We're doing very well over there. Let's just say over 70,000 views on our tiny little channel every week. So, or month, I should say, 144,000 views to date. But those are big numbers for a tiny little channel. But we're growing, and it's all because of you. So do check that out, and do check out my channel. By the way, if you're here and you're not there, I'm wondering why. Because I contribute a little bit to this show, and maybe you're just all here for Mr. H. He is very pretty, but you can check out my channel and be more than satisfied with the amount of material over there. I'm just saying. I've got a celebration stream for 25,000 subscribers on Saturday.
No, mate. Just I don't understand. Some people with their self-promotion, they're so bad. No one knows who the fuck you are. What's your channel name?
I'm right here. Culture Casino. I'm here every week.
No one knows that is your channel name. You're just
really?
Follow me over there. There's some people might be tuning in for the first time, being like,
"Oh, okay. Well,
you then?
If you're here for the first time,
who are you?
I'm Culture Casino. Yeah, I was introduced by him when he brought me on stage. I'm Culture Casino. My channel is Culture Casino, and I actually have I have that, and of course the game channel is that game place, as I said when I was talking about that. But I have a 25K celebration coming up on Saturday, and Mr. H will probably be there because I'm going to ask. Yeah, and
are you asking now? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, kind of. Put you on the spot.
Live, so I can't be like, no, mate, I've got something.
That's right. It's perfect timing. I'm doing that to all my friends. I'm going to make you show up at my celebration stream. It'll be a lot of fun.
Are you actually at 25,000 subscribers now?
Yeah, I'm past it. Just eclipsed it. Yes, and actually, here's something that's going to make Mr. H live mad live on air right now.
You're going to say about your memberships, and they take 30%. So don't care.
Okay. Well, I've got 1,000 of them now. I've got 1,000 members now. I'm just saying.
1,000 members, and I wonder how much YouTube takes of your membership. Hey,
30% of it.
30%. It's quite a lot on it, mate.
No, it's a ton. Yeah. I got to figure out a way to get out myself, but I don't like Patreon, but that's okay. So
why don't you like Patreon?
They don't have a good reputation for staying out of your business, and if you say the wrong thing and all that, they're not great. So, but it is
right. All of that is completely true, right?
Yeah.
That is completely true. Yeah. However, I've never been yeeted off Patreon.
Yeah, and I don't think you will. I don't think you will be. But I hang out with dangerous people. Right. And I have a bad.
You're literally nowhere near.
I have a terrible. I have a terrible reputation.
You're right.
I don't curse all that much. Sometimes on this show. But I will say, no, do check it out. It'll be a lot of fun, and I will be dressed as Hobo Gandalf.
That's all the time.
No, but I have like the whole robe and everything. Okay. You're right. I am Hobo Gandalf all the time. I'm trimming the beard after Saturday. It's getting a little trim. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm going to the barbershop. Going to get it shaped.
Oh dear.
Yeah. The hair is super long again. We're past the shoulders and starting to curl. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Good. So in about 14 months, I will be doing another hair donation.
Excellent.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on because I do. I man, I can't even tell you now how many times I've done it. Many. But yeah, I love that because it gives somebody or two somebody's, or my hair is really thick, maybe possibly 3 different wigs depending upon hair length of the wig. So really.
So for those that don't know, Culture grows his hair.
Yep.
Cuts it, obviously. And then donates it for wig makers. It's for cancer, isn't it? Is that?
Yes. Yeah. I've worked with 3 different charities with the hair donations. And you have to have a minimum length of hair to donate, but my hair is crazy thick and it grows ridiculously fast. So, and it's slowing down a little bit as I get older, but if I get back in the gym full time, I'll be able to accelerate that, believe it or not. So, but it's just, Yeah,
Although
go
I
ahead.
rip on Culture for being a bit
Yeah.
gross looking every now and then, what he does is absolutely fantastic, and wholeheartedly support stuff like that. That's absolutely brilliant
Yeah.
thing to do. So yeah, it's all jokes, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
Like
Oh yeah. No.
this is
Yeah.
this is
We.
British banter. I
Yeah.
appreciate for some people it may actually seem really genuine, and some people think I'm genuinely just being a dick.
No.
This is
Us.
quintessentially British. This is just having a laugh.
Yeah.
This is what that's part of British culture, basically.
Yeah. And trust me, I'm not offended or anything. We're having fun. So there you go. I believe me, I will dig into him occasionally, because he's so pretty.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
You deserve it.
I will address this one more time, ladies and gents, because I'm seeing some conversational stuff in the chat. If you want to see Tom, go to his channel. He has a channel, right? You can go and see all the Tom you like on Tom's channel. He won't ever be back here. That's steadfast. It's never changing, because he was incredibly unprofessional and he rage quit and then proceeded to bitch about me in the live chat to you guys on my own show. There is nothing further from professional. Okay? So he won't ever be here again. You can find him on his own channel. I don't want to keep addressing it. I've addressed it a few times now. I'd like it so we can all just move on from it. If that would be great. You can watch Midnight's Edge. He's on there 3 times a week. You can get him everywhere you like. He's on every single other live stream. In fact, the only thing that differentiates this now is that he's not on it. So there you go. If you don't want any Tom, you come here, because every other live stream has him. There you go. All right. There's no animosity. It's a purely professionalism aspect. He won't be here because it's unprofessional. Done. If we could do that now and we can move on, that would be fantastic. Excellent. Moving on. We will. We actually have some super chats that have come in already, which is fantastic. So thank you so much. Oh! Some people are also asking about my foot. Yeah. So Sunday, I fell down my stairs, my entire flight of stairs, which was incredibly painful. I smashed into my wall, so I bust up my wall as well. Hurt my shoulder, hurt my head, but predominantly hurt my back. And those that follow me on Twitter would have seen that those that follow me on Twitter would have seen I was kind of live tweeting. Basically, the pain became too unbearable at a certain point. My foot swelled up, so I had to go to A&E and get an X-ray and things like this. And it was just a complete air show. Essentially, what I've done is some pretty severe soft tissue damage because my foot took all of the inertia force of me stepping and down, and then all of my weight as well on one foot repetitively. So yeah, just wrecked up all the soft tissues in my foot, basically. It is better, significantly better. Taking like some just general painkillers, some codeine, ibuprofen, things like this. And I've got a what have I got? A compression sock thing at the moment, which will just ease some of the sick. Well, it just helps some of the
reduce the swelling.
So, yeah. So for those that are asking about it, that's what I'm doing. That's how the foot is, basically. That's the foot update. It's still pretty painful, not gonna lie. So F's in the chat, boys, for my foot. That'd be great. And that's it. Foot update. Foot date. No, foot update, not foot date. That's weird. Anyway, moving on.
Foot date?
Well, because I was like, foot update, foot date. But no, that's like
update.
No, that's even weirder. Anyway, we'll move on. I know, send it into utter shit now, isn't it? All right, let's get to our first topic, shall we? So the Crow came out. The Crow came out this weekend. I watched it. Came out this weekend. I watched it. I'm aware Culture watched it. We'll give our brief thoughts of the movie, and then we'll talk about the box office and things like that. It's a general conversation, I guess, about the film. We will talk spoilers as well. Like there's nothing to spoil particularly. Although I will say, how right was my source, Culture? Because I revealed the entire
100%.
plot
100%.
of this
100%. Nailed it.
several months
Yeah.
before this film was released.
Yeah.
What
Wow.
did you think about the film? I know you didn't like it at all. So yeah.
Oh boy. It was awful. Beginning to end. The first act of the film was a complete waste. It took, I don't know, was it 20, 25 minutes before we even get Eric Draven character in it? It's all about this chick. Shelley becomes far more important in this movie than she was even considered in the first. This the weirdest sacrifice ever, and it's some kind of strange at the very end of the third act. The disassociation of time. It was bizarre, but ultimately everything that you saw in the trailers was most of the action scenes, and they don't really show up. Like the good action doesn't show up till the third act. The first act is dumb. It's dumb. It's drugs. It's wanton, crazy, unearned sex. It's the first two acts are a complete waste. The setup of the bad guy is superficially done. You get a sense that I forget his name. They wasted an actor, a very, very good actor as the villain, and didn't use him at all. And the ending was just so stupid. But none of the things that you would have thought would have been in The Crow were in this film. None of them. And it's centered around the wrong story. And again, it may have wasted like the last chance for Skarsgård to like elevate himself a little bit. This isn't the vehicle for him. So I feel like I wasted 122 minutes or whatever it was. It ran a bit long. It ran longer than the original film. I think the original film was 111 minutes, but it just it didn't use some of the things that you would have expected in the film. It was not true to the comic. I couldn't find anything. It was occasionally in focus. That's something positive I can say about the film. Because even the filmmaking was poor.
Technically, there are some things that are actually pretty decent, but yeah.
But most of the way through, it's like, oh wow, that's what some of the camera placements, the cinematography was not spot on. The use of light was also very poor. They couldn't get when she's dancing around like an idiot at the with the fire thing or whatever. That was not in focus at all. I was like, how do you create that much blur?
I think that might have been the point from an artistic perspective to be like, this is a bit dreamy, but yeah, I mean, you're kind of right, I guess. I'm not trying to defend it, but
no. I mean, the fire was in focus. I'm like, if that was intentionally done,
I don't know. I'm not.
It was just weird.
I sound like I'm defending the film because it wasn't very good.
No, but I couldn't find. I didn't do a review. This is the first film I went to that I didn't do a review on because it was that bad. It pissed me off that much.
That's stupid.
I know.
At least you'd have made money from doing a review.
I know, and it was a very selfish thing for me because here's the other problem. There wasn't anything very memorable in the film. You can't hang your coat on a moment in this film. You can't. You immediately start to forget things because they weren't important. This film is so unimportant that, like, I can remember the key elements, and that's it. That's all. It's not like it's not like normally I can walk people through a film beginning to end and it means something, but until you get to the third act, I don't think it meant anything. And then the ending was not a payoff. It felt me quite let down.
It was definitely anticlimactic.
Yeah. Yeah,
Is that what you mean?
yeah, I was quite let
Yeah.
down.
Okay.
Yeah, at the end of the
Yeah.
film, I was just like, this is not. There's no. It's not satisfying. This film. Normally, I can even find satisfying moments in the action.
Mm.
I didn't see. There weren't any. I mean, if
Yeah.
you're trying, there are some visual elements they tried to set up like a Batman film. They didn't pay off.
Yeah. I mean, I am wondering. I need to reach out to my source that watched this at test screenings and just see whether they changed anything from test screenings or not. Because from what I'd already done a video on before, so long ago now, it I mean, it matched it to a T. Like it was completely the same thing, right? Like there wasn't anything different. There just wasn't anything different at all. So I wonder if I sort of pried into a bit more detail, whether there would be anything that was sort of cut and changed. Because from my perspective, so like overall, ladies and gents, I mean, culture's opinion is pretty close to my own, right? Like the film isn't massively great. It's not massively great at all. It's definitely got huge issues, and it's got huge issues because of really really silly. If this was just a Crow film and it wasn't Eric Draven and Shelley, some of this would work as a Crow film because Bill Skarsgård is actually really really good in the role when he gets going.
Yeah,
the opera house scene towards the end of the film, which Culture was speaking about, the third act, is actually really really decent.
Yeah.
He's hacking up arms, he's stomping on people's heads and breaking their necks and literally jamming swords horizontally.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Mouths, slicing their faces open. I mean, it's really actually quite bloody and gory and really good, right? Like it's actually what you want in these kind of films. Gratuitous violence.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what it should be. This is a man seeking revenge for the love of his life. So yeah, you do. It's not gratuitous at that point.
No.
But it also should feel more earned. And so they're damned if they do. Well, they were damned because they made it Eric Draven and Shelley, and they're damned because of also really stupid narrative decisions, like making them smackheads and crackheads and whatever, right? A bunch of addicts. Now, and I said this in my review, is that if you're going to make them a bunch of addicts and they meet in rehab, to make me care about these people would be to make them leave rehab and go, we found each other. This is a new lease of life. Let's clean up. But they didn't. They immediately left rehab and then partook in numerous levels of debauchery and degeneracy. And I'm like, I don't care about you people. You deserve to die. Because quite frankly, I don't actually care about addicts. They are, no offense anyone, but generally speaking, they're awful people, right? They would sell their granny for a hit. That's what an addict is, a quintessential, an actual addict. So, not people in the chat that may be like, oh, do a bit of weed every now and then. I'm obviously not talking about you. And so I don't care about these people, right? Like these people are awful people. And all I'm watching are these two addicts just going at it. I'm not, I don't care. Like, I don't care about you. I would care if they were like, we found love.
Yeah.
We found each other. We found love against all odds. Let's clean ourselves up, right? That becomes more of an arc. And then you could have Shelley get murdered. You could have Bill, maybe do an overdose then. And then he dies. And then in the fit of revenge comes back. Do you see? Like, you could do it that way. That would be better. But it was just lame, man. It was just absolutely lame because of these weird choices that they made. You've got to make people like the characters for them to then, root for them moving forwards. So yeah, it's a bit shit to be honest. But the third act was really good, and Bill Skarsgård is really good as the Crow.
But with the way that this thing's flopping, and we're going to get into that in a couple minutes, but I think they cut too much exposition out of the first and second act, because I think if there were edits,
I think they removed about 20 minutes worth of this film, I reckon.
Yeah, I would say that easily.
Because there's stuff implied in this movie, right? So the villain has literally sold his soul to the devil, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So he sold his soul to the devil,
And
ladies and gents, and
he can
it, it,
whisper.
it, in,
Yeah.
in exchange for that, he sends innocent souls down to hell.
Yeah.
But then also randomly, and this is something which they've clearly cut out the film, he feeds on their blood as well, because he cuts his hand open and he drains them of blood into his hand to gain some of their essence to stay around longer or something like that. I don't really know. It's not said. There's these weird things which were included, which clearly there would have been an element of a backstory in it. It's really odd. And so I reckon they've chopped probably about 20 minutes out of, like, the fact that the villain is interested in the crow and he's like, oh, so he can't die then, right? I need to get him. Need to get his blood. Like, why, mate? Why do you need to get his blood? Like, it's not explained.
I feel like you said they had to have removed some very essential information from the film that the audience needed for some of it to make sense. That's why I said it's not good story. It's not good. It's not good storytelling. It's not good filmmaking. You lost your audience because there's motivations that are missing in here, right? It's something I called out about the Acolyte on every episode. It's like it's incongruent. It's and there's missing motivations. And I mean, by the time you get to the third act, which is the only thing worth watching, in my opinion, you just it's like, why am I sitting here in this theater? You know, aside from the air conditioning, which was perfectly lovely, but yeah, it's just come
Good
on
times.
now. Yeah.
So, well, look, anyway, obviously, this movie didn't do massively well at the box office this weekend.
Ugh.
So, yeah, bombed.
And I mean, look, he looks the part. I didn't appreciate the head to toe tattoo thing, but that's an aesthetic choice. It's fine. But
yeah,
I mean, he looked like he would be good in the role. He kind of made me feel like he was playing the wrestler Sting and not Eric Draven. That's a whole other conversation.
yeah.
But and the whole black around the eyes thing, that didn't show up until the third act, I think.
I know.
And it was related to the tattoo. I'm like, I don't want to do this. This is stupid dumb. You know, it's
I
like
know.
But okay, money wise,
$4.6 million opening, but what did it do worldwide? Because I can't find that anywhere.
oh
Can you
wow,
find that culture?
it made almost nothing. Let me get that for you. But I could not believe it, just how poorly this did in the States and Canada. You would have expected a reboot of something that's become a cult classic here that everybody talks about and goth kids swear by.
Well, a $100 million opening would have been something which I thought was attainable, and I also think this is something, not $100 million opening, sorry, but $100 million in its entirety. I think is something which people would have. I think that's a reasonable assertion, and I think that's also what Lionsgate thought. So this film cost $50 million to make, which is, I mean, that's not much. To be fair, it's not much at all for a film like this. That is really cheap.
Look, as of this very moment, the international box office all in, it's $5.2 million as of this moment. Global.
It's what? Sorry, how much is it?
5.2.
What? Worldwide?
Yeah, that's the international box office came in at $187,000.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Well, it may not be released everywhere, and I haven't looked that up yet, but the only rely on that's the numbers that were reported. And here's the other thing: it jumped to 5 million in the States because yesterday it earned $422,000 in the States.
That's brilliant.
That was Monday. Brilliant. That was Monday numbers.
Wow. Well, anyway, so it cost $50 million. Which is not a lot, in fairness. Also had a really bad soundtrack. The song that they used in the trailer wasn't even in the bloody movie. Even if they used that song in the movie, that would have been a better song to use.
Yeah,
it would have been better.
Yeah, but it still wouldn't have worked. I mean, you needed to go
because music there is no music around like like the music for the original. There just isn't. Not now. It's not the same.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it cost $50 million, has made nothing, completely nothing. But Lionsgate, interestingly, because they didn't fund this, I don't think. They picked it up for $10 million acquisition for North America, and $15 million for P&A.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they basically got $25 million into it, which is not bad. I can see why Lionsgate thought this was worth a punt. To be honest, I'm not saying it was a smart choice, but I can see why they probably thought, it's worth a punt, 25 mil.
Okay.
What do you reckon?
They're still losing money. I mean,
Obviously.
but it just it was. Yeah, I mean, look. That's a decent risk assessment. You know, the original film made this much money. We probably will make some money on it, but you know, they really should have put some money into the music. The soundtrack is garbage. Just go out, call Trent Reznor and say, "Can you make a soundtrack for this, please?" Or just somebody, right? Just reach back in time and grab somebody. I mean, even if you grab what the remnants of KMFDM or somebody, grab somebody, can make music from this time period.
Well, come on then. Numbers.
Oh, yeah.
Acquisition.
Well, okay. Look, $15 million for Prince and ad. A $10 million buy-in, $25 million all in. This thing so far is looking at a maximum maybe $20 million finisher at the box office. If it gets a broader international release, maybe. I mean, only 3 countries are actually reporting a box office, with the Netherlands at 130,000, Finland at 36,000, and Slovakia at 20,000. Notice I'm not saying million behind any of those numbers.
Wow, that's so bad, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's so bad.
And a lot of these, I mean, some of these countries opened before we did, like Brazil. They haven't even reported yet. So we don't know what Brazil's opening was. We don't know Argentina's opening. Australia doesn't open until the 29th. Can I tell you a little secret, folks in the chat? When Australia hears how shit this film is in the States, they ain't going to see it on the 29th.
Well, no, obviously not.
You know, the Czech Republic is this coming weekend. I mean, a lot of these that reported on the 20 that should have reported on the weekend part from because of the start date on the 21st or 22nd haven't reported yet. So these numbers could go up, but they're still going to be in the tens of thousands, not the tens of millions. So
bad.
I don't think I've seen something like this, and Borderlands was shit.
Well, yeah, but we're not really talking about that way.
No, but I'm just saying.
Actually,
yeah.
Oh, has Lionsgate got any other movies coming out this quarter? Or have they had any other movies coming out this quarter?
Well, see, that's the weird thing, right? They have some limited success already this year. But let me look
I'm
it up.
asking very specifically about this quarter.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now.
Is there anything
not off the top of my head. Borderlands and this one, and I don't think they have anything else on the calendar that I can think of or see.
So for those that aren't aware, I'll just sort of explain how Hollywood accounting works. Movie studios will put several movies on the same balance sheet. So regardless of the film's individual budget, when it's paired up with another film on the same balance sheet, if that film does well, it quite literally goes to the film which didn't do well necessarily. And so that's why you'll see a lot of studios not really caring that much and being able to absorb the cost because they tie it in with another movie. So that's why I'm asking whether they've got anything else coming out, because if they don't, this is pretty big actually for them as a studio, having 2 very, very, very big losses. Like, you can't hide that. There's no way to absorb that as a cost. They're just screwed, which is really bad, because what you'll see from this then, if this is the case, is Lionsgate being very, very, very careful with what they do in the next few years, because this is a lot of money that they've lost. It's not a small amount; it's a hell of a lot of cash, actually. So yeah, you'll see some interesting things happening. I think, at the very least, with what they announce moving forwards. Mark my words.
Yeah, Lionsgate to date has released this year 11 films.
Have they?
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
11
That's quite a
movies.
lot.
Yeah, to date, they've only made $175 million on those 11 films, selling just 16 million tickets with a share of the box office at 3.15%.
Yeah, it's not very good.
Yeah. And this year we had so far to date
Yeah, they've done a lot this year, actually.
yeah, I'm going through it all. I'm like,
Some of it is just distribution rights, though.
right, yeah, they didn't. Well, this one they obviously just took a flyer on and bought it, and they said, "Well, we have 25 million to waste." I don't know if you do.
Yeah, so slightly different.
Yeah,
But still, that's a lot of cash that they've lost. I mean, what was Borderlands? Borderlands was a co-production, so that's the issue for them there. It's a lot of money that they would have lost.
yeah. I'm trying to look forward in the form of
not
what.
without 1992. That's a distribution only.
Yeah.
Continue as a distribution only. Killer's Game is co-production. Bagman is distribution only. So they actually, so for those that just want to peek behind the curtain, Lionsgate mitigates a lot of the risk for their films because they're buying other people's films. So other people have made a film, and Lionsgate distributes it on behalf of other production studios. So to compare that to something which people are aware of, when I say the Monsterverse, a lot of people are like, "Oh, yeah, Warner Brothers," and I go, "No, the Monsterverse is actually created by Legendary, not Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers distribute it on behalf of Legendary, and they do co-produce it with a 25% stake, but it's a Legendary production. Legendary make it, and this is a similar-ish deal with what Lionsgate does. So Lionsgate will do some co-productions, but mainly, not mainly, but they will do numerous drop-in purchases of films to then distribute as well, and obviously take a percentage of it. So just an interesting peak,
Well, and consider this. I mean, Lionsgate right now, they took such a bath on Borderlands to the tune of 22 million. Everybody involved in that is getting hosed, and Media Capital Technologies, which is probably the funding mechanism, and everybody that got involved on that co-production. Gearbox Software. You got, first of all, Gearbox is freaking because they want to release this Borderlands 4 game that nobody wants.
Yeah, that's going to die.
Yeah,
that's going to die. Well, anyway, The Crow bombed. It was always going to bomb.
Yeah,
ladies and gents. We do got some super chats about this though.
Cool.
Which we'll move on to now because again, this is a hell of a long time on a really boring film. Crazy 118 sent in $5 over on Streamlabs and says, "I love both pages, and here's one for you. That if the remake of The Crow wasn't called The Crow, how do you think it would have done?"
It's a good question.
I think it would have done better. Like inevitably, I think it would have done better. I think there was a lot of people. There was an abstinence vote, abstaining vote. People just chose not to turn up. They abstained from simply going to the theater to even entertain a view to see how it was, simply because it had the name The Crow attached to it. Lots of people, it's the Brandon Lee disrespect people didn't like. So if you didn't call it that and it was called something else and still had Skarsgård in the role, I think it would have done. I honestly think it would have done better. I don't think it would have made it a better film, mind you, but I think it would have done better at the box office because people like Skarsgård. So I think people would have gone to be like, "Oh yeah, what's that then? Let me have a look." What do you reckon, Culture?
No, I agree with you. I think if it weren't tagged with the name, if they weren't trying to redo the story either, if this film had been something
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was just The Crow but not around Eric Draven and Shelley Williams, I think was her last name. If it wasn't
Mm.
around those two characters, I think it could have had the opportunity to do much better. They could have told their own story. This was a huge departure, and I think because everybody had seen and heard that and can tell from the visuals that were offered, they did. I think the abstinence vote, the "I'm not going to see this" vote, was the one
Mm.
that won. Because there are I mean, go walk into a Hot Topic. There's still Crow stuff in there now. That's a retail store here in the States that sells all
Yeah.
this goth junk. And look, I mean, I grew up in a time when goth was pretty popular.
Yeah, well, it's not
Yeah,
anymore. So, okay, so
yeah,
you thought it would have done better as well.
yeah,
Cable Watson says Bill Scars is hot in the movie though.
yeah.
I don't. Well, all right, culture. Culture agrees with you. I was going to say I don't like men, so
Well,
whatever
I'm not
floats your
in.
boat,
I'm
I
in.
guess. But
I'm
culture
not.
agrees with you because
I'm not.
culture.
I'm not
What?
into. I'm not into dudes, but
All right.
I'm
You
just
don't need to
saying.
get defensive. Don't need to get
No,
defensive.
I
All right.
wasn't. I'm just saying. Hey, look. I mean, come on now. I mean, some guys are good looking. I'm just saying.
All right. Marshmallow says some. This is to do with addicts. Some even tell their own
Oh,
kids it's effed up. It
yeah.
is, my dude. It is. It absolutely is.
Oh,
There's
are
plenty
you
of
gonna
issues
see?
with
Are
this
you gonna
film.
see? Are you gonna see City of Dreams? Speaking of that,
I don't even know what that is. So tell me
it's
about it in a minute. Let's go to some of
okay.
these super
All right.
chats.
Sorry about that. Sorry.
Um, we've got a huge super chat here, and this guy, I assume it's a guy. Actually, I've never really even asked. This guy has done a few of these now, and I'm always blown away. And I'm building it up, but it is genuinely quite crazy. Oni Mishima has super chat $100 over on Streamlabs.
Woo-hoo.
I think this might be the third time he's done this, which
Wow.
is crazy. So thank you so much. I cannot thank you enough. It says, thanks for the foot date. You're welcome. It says, hope it heals quickly. For those that don't know, I fell down the stairs. I smashed up my foot. It was pretty brutal. And I spent all night in A&E in it. It was shit. Made me hate the NHS, put it that way.
Oh,
Hope it heals quickly. I wish they had just left the Crow alone. Luckily, people will forget this trash release quickly. That is true.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're completely right. Is that no matter how, no matter what you think of this film, it doesn't really matter because it will just fade into irrelevancy in no
Yeah.
time. Like this will just be gone like a fart in a wind. It'll just disappear. I wonder what's the betting this will be on streaming in 2 weeks' time. Would you reckon? Likely or unlikely?
Well, I know Borderlands is going to be available as of the 30th, so yes.
Exactly. That's what I'm using as the
Yeah.
metric.
Yeah. I'm going to Lionsgate's like, "Oh, flip, we need to sell this to somebody quick." Like, Netflix, you want to buy a terrible film? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's cheap.
Exactly.
25 million. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Oni
that's
Mishima. Genuinely, thank you
generous.
so much, man. That's crazy. Okay, that's it. That's all the super chats for that now. So we'll shuffle on. So thank you so much.
Wow.
Genuinely, thank you. Can't thank you enough. If you guys want to get your voice heard, get your comment read out, it can be about what we're talking about, or it can be anything. Literally, you can just ask us a question which could start its own topic, basically. Send in a super chat via YouTube or preference via Streamlabs, which is linked down below or pinned to the top of the live chat. YouTube does take 30%, so that's why I'm saying Streamlabs is better for that. That's much better. Send Jasper some treat money. There you go, and a question, of course. So right, what we'll do, we will shuffle on from this now. Move on. Oh no, we've got another one quickly from Mary. Has super chat $5 over on Streamlabs. Says FKA Twigs, which is the actor who played
Model.
Shelley in The Crow, says FKA Twigs' slow, sensual line delivery makes me cringe so goddamn hard. Yeah, I may have been a little bit harsh in my review. because I said she looked inbred.
Ooh.
And I stand by it. I don't care. I stand by that. She does look inbred. When she gets suffocated out and she's on the side, it's all like that. She looks inbred. Oh, I'm sorry, she looks inbred. You find her attractive? You're into inbred looking mofos. All right. I got nothing. I'm no regret saying it. I'll stand by that statement. All right. She looks inbred.
She
right?
didn't.
Sorry.
No, I won't push back on it. I was just going to say she looks very masculine.
Probably from the inbred genes. Anyway, and clearly some film funding relied on her getting the role because she can't act. She can't act at all. And she's not even attractive. So the two main reasons you would hire a woman, either they can act or they look really, really hot, because that's literally the only reasons you'd hire someone for a film. They can act really, really good, or they're really hot. Those are the two. There's no other reason why you'd hire someone for a film. There just isn't. So she fails on both those. So I reckon she was hired simply because funding. There you go. Anyway, we'll move on.
I don't have an explanation. I think that's fine. I think you're fine.
You don't have an explanation? Well, what happens, mate, when the birds and the bees...
that's not what I meant.
When you're released...
No, I don't want to hear about the uncle-cousin stuff that happens in Europe. I just want to say this.
It only happens in Europe because of an influx of people from certain parts of the world.
All I know is that she was a model. How, I don't know. She could fly her as a kite in a strong wind, and she does look like a druggie.
It's been an hour. Let's move on from this.
I'm sorry. I actually love.
Well, I cut you off there. Sonic 3 trailer has been released. It's done really, really well so far. 7 hours, 1.8 million views. Yeah. Significantly less views than I thought it would have, actually, to be honest. 143,000 likes to 463 dislikes. Not 1,000, just 463. Great like to dislike ratio. These movies have always done reasonably well for Paramount. Look, this is an interesting topic to discuss, regardless, whatever you think of the films, right? It's more like a conversation about how a movie studio can buy goodwill, right? Because that first Sonic design, what was that? That first Sonic design, for those that don't remember, was absolutely atrocious. It looked absolutely horrendous, and they went back to the drawing board. They even delayed the movie, for it as well.
Yeah.
And now these films have just done pretty well all the time. So, what did you think of the trailer? What did you think of the trailer?
I loved it. I thought it was great. And yes, they did buy goodwill because they fixed the character model. Yeah, there it is.
Look at that.
That was so bad. Dude. Okay, okay, just go back in your memory. On the left, on the left, you have the Henry Cavill missing mustache CGI, and on the right you have the proper character.
Look at that, man!
It was so bad.
Who on earth thought that was good?
The left side is trying to anthropomorphize it more human, and the right side is the proper character. That's
not even wearing gloves.
It is kind of a weird bony finger thing. Yeah,
just furry fingers. No, man, that's gross.
Yeah,
it's so weird.
Like I said, every time I look at the one on the left, I'm thinking Henry Cavill, where they tried to CGI over his mustache. That's I'm like, that is that bad. But I loved it. I think, look, even the show, right, the Knuckles thing or whatnot, it has been appealing to the younger audiences. But this has broad support into the adults because it's not offensive, and it reminds them of their youth. They're playing on their consoles and stuff like that. It's a really neat thing, and what I really enjoyed of this trailer is that Jim Carrey goes full Jim Carrey again. And I think he's a huge asset for a guy that said he was retired.
I actually thought this whole bit where we see this whole introduction of Jim Carrey in this
It's so
Robotnik
good.
was amazing.
It's so good.
This cracked me up because I thought the trailer was okay. Right, I thought it was okay. I thought it was fine. But then when they brought in Jim Carrey, like doing this,
look at that.
I was just like, "This is amazing. This is it. This is it." And Knuckles is like, "This is low, Robotnik, even for you."
Yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. He did great. I felt like at that moment, I'm like, okay, this is fat.
Look at him.
It's fat Thor, but it's also like, do you remember Dodgeball, the movie? Where the guy that owns Globo Gym is like got all fat again.
Yeah,
it's like this is what a good comedian can do with a role. And look, Robotnik. I don't know that anybody else could have been a good Robotnik like this. But yeah, this is low even for you.
So I always like these films, and I think these films are I just think they're decent. Like literally just. Yeah, they're just decent. I think that they have a really good balance between all of the sort of serious stuff, and so Jim Carrey can be a bit much, right? It definitely can be a bit much when he goes full Jim Carrey. But I think what they managed to do in these films overall is they use Jim Carrey perfectly. They bring him in just when they need some of the comedic relief and the slapstick humor, and then because obviously Sonic is still humorous as well as a character, but they offset that against they offset Sonic's humor with the male lead, the human lead, and then they bring in Jim Carrey as well for the sort of zaniness. So it actually has a really good balance. Like as a family film, it hits 4 quadrants really well because everything's pretty well balanced. It's got a humor set for most people, most age ranges, which in a kids' film is actually really, really rare. That's really hard to do normally, and I think they do it really, really well here. So, yeah, I love it. I think this is great. I think it's brilliant. Yeah, what thoughts? Any other thoughts on this?
No, I like how he cleans up and everything else, through the trailer. I think you're right. I think this is the perfect use of an asset, right? And and look, he doesn't have to. Jim Carrey doesn't have to carry a lot of water. He just has to carry his role and do a really good job in it. And he has so far. And this looks like it's going to be brilliant. So I can't wait. I cannot wait. And they even use the music right in the 2 previous films. They've used the music properly. So I'm looking forward to this, and I know I shouldn't. I know it's not for me, but it is a 4 quadrant film. It's got a lot of fan service, I'll say, and not member berries. So
well, they also, where was it? There was also a nod to Akira in this as well. So there's actually quite a lot of hidden references to movies and things. A Shadow looks great as well, by the way. Like the CGI is solid in this. Like that's good CGI. Again, compared to what it was supposed to be before. So here is the where's the reference to Akira? He does a motorcycle slide. Where is it?
I thought it was before this, but I could be wrong. Yeah, I think it was before it.
Oh, there's two Jim Carreys as well.
Yeah, granddad or dad or whatever.
Madness.
Yeah.
God damn. Yeah. Well, anyway, there's a reference to
the bike slide. Yeah.
Yeah, reference to Akira with the bike slide, which is always good fun.
Yeah.
I like this. I think they're good fun. I just think they always do pretty well, and I can see why they've sort of embraced this as a property and kept making them. I mean, these are the films which sort of save, I guess, sort of save people's opinions of video game adaptations to movies as well. To be fair, because most video game adaptations are terrible. These ones have always been all right.
Yeah, and I think what you're talking about is the level and the detail that they throw into the animation. It's why it's why everybody loves these. The CGI, sure, but this is high-end AAA video game title cutscenes that they've turned into basically a movie with live human actors. And this is the other thing. They're able to put live human actors with these 3D represented characters in a way that it's believable in that world. And it's hard to do. That's not easy. So, yeah, Granddad, that's what it is. Thank you, Bob Seth. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, we've got some super chats about this as well. So we've got one from Matthew Brown for here it is, $9.99. So he says the two lines in the Sonic trailer when Sonic asked Shadow, "What did you do?" to Shadow's response, "What I had to," was probably my favorite because it tells me this movie will be much darker. Yeah, I agree with that. I think there will be a significantly darker element to this film, which they haven't had really. There's been some risks, but again, not. Well, this just sounds much darker. It sounds like potentially someone's died, which is always dark, to be fair. So yeah, interesting. We've got one from Kalechi Oki for $5 over on Streamlabs. Says predictions on Sonic 3's total box office run. Could it reach $1 billion? If the movie is an absolute home run and fun, it could have legs? ? However, I'll be modest and say around the 700 to 800 million range, hoping it could break $1 billion though. What do you think? Where's your? I can't remember
my estimation for this film's performance.
Sonic 2 did not do very well, actually. To be fair.
Yeah, I think that you're going to have.
They've all done. No, actually, Sonic 2 did more than the first one. Okay, so they've actually done all okay. What's your prediction then? Sorry.
I really do think they'll do rather well. I mean, we're not going to have a Lionsgate moment here. This probably gets you over the hump of $500 million easily. I don't remember Sonic 2. What was Sonic 2 at?
Sonic 2 did over $400 million.
Yeah, so I'm going to say this will be north. Yeah, I think this will go north of 500 million pretty easily. Again, it doesn't have a lot of competition. That's the other thing. We are about to see the most depressed movie period ever in our lifetimes. Coming up, there won't be stuff to watch.
Yeah.
Same thing with television. So I think.
What do you reckon this will do then?
A little over 500 million. My guess, maybe. Yeah, I think 525, 520, somewhere in there. I think because the release cycle puts it firmly in December of this year. It's pretty much perfect timing for a 4-quadrant film. It was right at the holidays.
They make these films for absolutely nothing, mate. Do you know how much they make these films for?
Very little. I mean, it's. Do they use the Illumination kind of budgets?
Just what the budgets are.
No, but I'm just saying because like Illumination doesn't spend any money on their films either. And if this thing,
yeah, I mean it's the same type of deal. Yeah. Do you want to know how much Sonic 2 was?
70 million.
90 to 110 million dollars.
Okay, all right. So if you put that in the same ballpark, yeah, if you put this one in the same ballpark, although you did get Keanu Reeves, so you are spending a little bit more money. But I don't know. I don't see a published budget this year yet. So And I don't see it on the usual suspects either. So,
Yeah, there is no reported budget for
yeah. So if
Sonic
they,
3, but I mean, it'll be about the same.
yeah, it'll be very similar. It's only what 2 years separated. This is how quickly they're putting these together as well. It's not bad. I know 2 years, 6 months from the. Wait, there wasn't a February release for Sonic 2. That was like a Valentine's type of release.
Yeah, I think so.
So if that's the case, yeah, like I said, a year and a half between films, and you got Keanu Reeves to get in on it. I'm telling you right now, this would be good.
Yeah.
I think this will be really good.
There you go, Kalechi. Crazy 118118 has super chatted $5 over on Streamlabs and says people say video game to movies can't work, but for some reason this. Yeah, they've done really well with these, as we've just outlined with the box office. They've done really, really well over the years with these films. Like genuinely, really, really damn well.
That's one of the few things Paramount's doing right.
Yeah, it is, because there's literally nothing else that they've been doing that is actually right, to be fair. So there you go. Anyway, I'll be keen to watch this. The response is great. I've always thought these films are just good, dumb fun, so I will absolutely be going to the movie theater to watch this. Will you be going to the theater to watch this?
Yeah, I have to. Yeah, I have to. I'll see it.
I know you do. I will be asking you to.
Well, even if you didn't, I had to go anyway.
Yeah. All right. And ladies and gents in the chat, will you guys be watching this? Yes or no? Let us know down below.
Yeah.
We've actually got some super chats about The Crow again, so we'll just
go
back to that briefly before we move on. So Adam Henson has super chatted £5. Guys, I will say as well, so super chats, fantastic. Thank you so much. This is funded by you guys for you guys, right? So super chats are the best way to keep the lights on here. Can't thank you enough. YouTube does take 30% of it though, and some people have a lot of censorship issues with YouTube, right? So you'll type something in and it'll block it or this like that. Streamlabs doesn't have any censorship issues, okay? And Streamlabs doesn't take 30%. So send your super chat with Streamlabs, because Streamlabs does not block anything. I know, because I'm the one that sets the blockages, and there are no blocks on Streamlabs. It will not block anything because I've said it that way. So if you have an issue, send it via Streamlabs. YouTube, I can't control YouTube, and YouTube takes money from it anyway. So send your super chats via Streamlabs, please. But anyway, Adam Henson drops in £5 and says, how is it Hollywood reboots The Crow and makes it worse that it's straight to DVD sequels? This shouldn't be possible. Did AI write the script? So I don't think AI wrote the script. I just think it was a combination of too many, because I had so many producers on board. I think it was too many cooks. Being sort of, I think too many people were involved and too many ideas and not a streamlined approach. Again, it's not to say it would have been any good regardless, but I think that's why it was also significantly bad. Because you've watched it, Culture. The opening credits, there's a lot of random production houses that no one's ever heard of before.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think there were 9 in total. Right.
That's a lot.
So yeah, I mean it's just ridiculous, and you know, and this was a $25 million deal for them. You know, maybe they can sell it for that much. But we did get a chat from somebody who said that he was charged for his YouTube super chat, but it never showed up on our end. I don't know if you can see it in the live studio part of YouTube.
There is no super chat. That's why I said what I just said.
Oh, okay.
I was doing it in a way not to address people very, very specifically.
Okay. All right. Fair
I
enough.
should have addressed anyone's concern.
Okay. Fair enough.
God damn it, Culture.
I'm terrible.
Yeah, no, there is no super chat, guys. And I can't read out. I'm not going to read out a question just because someone has said that there's been a super chat, because anyone could say that they've sent a super chat.
Fair enough.
That's that object, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. That is not fair. And if you want to avoid any of that happening, send it via Streamlabs, because Streamlabs does not block anything. But I will not read out a super chat or a comment just because someone says that they've sent a super chat. There is nothing this side. And I'm not in control of YouTube. They will block stuff if they do. I can't confirm that. It's nothing I can do. Like all 100 or so people watching could just say, I've sent a super chat. Oh, it's been blocked. And then we devolve into nonsense then, don't we? So we've got to keep it very straight down the line. If it comes through on our side, we always read it out. And if you want it and it's being blocked, then send it by Streamlabs, because Streamlabs doesn't block anything. There you go. Culture burning my flow. God damn you. Meh. I think that is that. Is that it? Did we? Because did I say there was 2 about the Crow? I think I did, didn't I?
And we just got a new member.
We did. Yeah, we did have a new member. Yeah. So thank you so much, Ghost on the guitar. What is that in an avatar? Is that salt?
It looks like salt. It's a salt
That's
shaker.
salt shaker.
Yeah. Steal my guitar.
I like it.
Yeah.
And we've got
right.
Commandant VHS says, "Get better, Mr. H."
Yeah.
This is all about my foot. My foot is pretty bad. Thank you so much. Do appreciate that. Thank you. And Zombie Box says, "For Jasper's treat fund."
There you go.
Well, thank you so much. Appreciate that as well. Our fantastic moderator, one of our fantastic moderators, Zombie Box Reviews. We've also got Olaf, who's in the chat. Great moderator as well. So anyway, we will Will we shuffle on? Let me just double check all of super chats over on Streamlabs. We've got another one here through Streamlabs from Crazy 118. It says Keanu Reeves in a choice of new John Wick, The Matrix, or a new project. So this is just, let me rephrase the question from Crazy 118. Keanu Reeves, you have the choice to watch Keanu Reeves in either a new John Wick film, which actually we are getting, right? We are actually getting that, John Wick 5, or a new Matrix film, or something brand new. What do you choose, Culture?
Okay, since I already know we're getting Matrix 5, or excuse me, John Wick 5, I'm gonna say I want a new project. I don't want anybody to go near Matrix ever again. There's one good Matrix film. One.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
The 2 films.
Are you going to say the third one?
No, the first one. No, the first one. The other two. The other 2 after that were troubling, and the most recent one was complete dog poo.
That was so bad.
It's not good.
Yeah, that was genuinely terrible. That was a terrible film. Actually terrible.
I think it was intentional. I think it was intentionally terrible.
No, it was. Yeah. It actually was.
Yeah.
It was intentionally terrible. I don't know why Warner Brothers greenlit it. Idiots. Matthew Brown says, one last thing about it, Sonic. Does this movie show any indication that Shadow will become the anti-hero we all know? Because he doesn't look like he wants to be redeemed, according to the trailer. I think so, because they show him interacting with that little girl. So I think that they are showing an element of sort of softening the character, or at least setting something up to soften the character, further down the line in the movie, perhaps. That's my take on it. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, just with the 2 lines of dialogue that were recently spoken about by our amazing chat, I would agree. I think you're going to get an anti-hero version of Shadow right away. I think we won't have to, but I think that'll be the third act will establish that firmly, and I think we'll progress forward towards some of the new game stuff that they're going to put out there in the near future too.
Yeah.
And I like how I like how you were mentioning this. I like how they slow roll these characters, leaving a lot of room for the future ones as well that we know exist. So,
yeah. I just like how they're just slowly introducing bits and pieces. They're not like, oh my god, we've got to do this, we've got to do that, we've got to do this. It's just like, no, just slow and steady.
Yeah.
There was little teases, teases here and there, but no, just slow and steady. Just slow and steady. Just slowly do it. That's it. It's fine. I like it. They're just wholesome, good films. To be fair, just pretty decent stuff. So, anyway, there you go. Let's move on to. I can't hold off any longer. I was waiting for Nick for this one, but
oh no,
Well, we don't know if he's even turning up today because
That's
of his
true.
work and stuff like that. So
That's
it is
right.
what it is.
Yep. All right.
So we will move on to
Yep.
our next topic, which is so apparently Taika Waititi's Star Wars movie is not happening. He has been fired from Lucasfilm. It's not happening. Also, Kathleen Kennedy. Leslie Headland has been completely fired as well from Lucasfilm. Yeah, I mean that's kind of the main headline, to be fair. So we'll just take a look. This is from Matt McGloin over on Cosmic Book News, who lots of people will discount this instantly, but just wait because there has been some good reporting from this website. It's not their exclusives are not, their track record is closer to being, there's more positive than there is negative on their exclusives. I'm very tired and I'm on painkillers, so excuse my weird stuttering. Okay, deal with it. Conversations that this individual has had with insiders at Comic-Con has informed him that Taika Waititi is definitely not doing a Star Wars movie at Lucasfilm. You don't reckon, Culture?
No, I believe that. No, I believe what he's saying, and McGloin gets it right more often than not. So, but yeah, I look at this and I truly believe it based on some of the statements coming out of Taika Waititi in some of the later articles and interviews that he did closer to this year, at the end of 2023. I think he was kind of setting up the idea that maybe he wasn't going to have a Star Wars film after all. I think the bloom's off the rose. And we're about to find out why.
Yeah. So this individual says previously tweeted about it, mentioned with the rumor that Marvel may have removed Captain America: Brave New World director, blah blah blah. It was also told by the insider that Leslie Headland is done at Lucasfilm, which makes sense. You can see that as well. And a lot of this is to do with sort of Thor, the general sort of vibe and things like that. So insiders told this Matt McGloin that the reason Taika Waititi is no longer doing his Star Wars movie at Lucasfilm is because of what happened with Thor: Love and Thunder. He was told that Waititi didn't finish Thor: Love and Thunder, and it was a complete disaster, and that Marvel gave him the boot from the movie. Wasn't told whether or not a new director came in to finish the movie. It sounded like Marvel finished it themselves, which you could do because their movies are not exactly difficult to finish, are they?
No, they're cookie cutter, and most of the action scenes are done prior to finishing the film. So I mean, a lot of the CGI action things that are, those are ready to go. We need this character to fly through here and land here for this shot.
It says this. It was also told that Waititi didn't finish the reshoots and the final cut of the movie. I was also told that Marvel had a really difficult time putting together the final cut of Thor: Love and Thunder, and the insiders
you could tell
told him that Marvel kept running into issues with continuity and with the story. They would get to certain parts, but didn't know where to go to next. Couldn't sync things up right. Waititi even admitted they struggled through the edits and right up until the end. What you got in theaters was apparently the best version. So as a result, Waititi is out at Lucasfilm and not doing a Star Wars movie anymore. What's your thoughts on all of that then?
I'm not surprised. I've never really thought that he was what he is. I think he's great with his own material because I think he has a vision beginning to end. I think when he takes something else, he tries to make it his own, kind of like Leslie Headland did with The Acolyte. So I think that, yes, they probably had issues with continuity. They probably also are having issues with continuity because they don't wait for a completed script and stick to it. It doesn't help. So, but yeah, he is more of an auteur, do his own thing guy than he is a, play nice with things kind of guy, which is how we ended up with the version of Thor that I thought was rather detestable after, Ragnarok, which I thought he did well with. But, that should have been a Planet Hulk combination film rather than what it turned into.
Yeah. That wasn't particularly great.
Oh, I also, you have to remember, if you can recall, and I covered this in the video I did on this subject very quickly, Mr. H, and you will remember this. Taika Waititi was having a 3-way tryst, apparently, with Rita Ora.
Apparently so.
Yeah. Well, I think that came out publicly out of Australian press, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So, I don't think that looked good to Disney. I think Disney's having some trouble with some of their people that they hire, and they're being embarrassed by maybe their only friends accounts.
Fuck's sake. Oh dear.
I mean, hold the mayo on that one, I guess. Anyway.
Yeah. I think you know what? It's such a shame as well, isn't it? Right? Like you've got an actor like Chris Hemsworth who takes the physicality of the role Thor very, very seriously, having to work with this clown who doesn't take the character seriously remotely. Like Thor and Chris Hemsworth deserve a better movie, a more serious movie than what this clown can do. And look, that's someone that I'm someone that likes Taika Waititi movies, right?
Me
when
too.
he's doing his own thing, those films have majority been actually pretty good. They're actually been pretty decent.
Our flag means death. I mean, I can go through a list of stuff that he's good at. What we do in the shadows. I mean, Jojo Rabbit was brilliant.
Yeah, good film. Good film. Yeah, I mean, he was never a good fit for Star Wars, though, was he? What a weird fit. What a weird fit for Star Wars.
Yeah.
And didn't he only get that because he did the work in The Mandalorian as the robot?
Yeah. It's exactly
Is it an I-8 droid? Is it an I-8?
I-88. Yeah, it was. It wasn't I-88, but it was one of them. Yeah, IG-88. Yeah, that was the original. That wasn't who he was. He was a different IG.
But, no, I know. Oh, IG-11. Sorry. No.
Yeah.
What?
There's one of them. I don't remember. He's going to look it up now.
I am looking it up, yeah.
IG-11 says Olaf. So.
All right, whatever. Whatever. IG-11. But that's pretty much how he got in with Lucasfilm, was just doing a voiceover. Like, what? Lame, man. Lame. I'm glad he's gone. Again, don't think he's good. His own properties that he makes himself, that's good. He's good like that. But yeah, I mean, he came out and said that he only did the Thor movies for a paycheck to feed kids. Like, he wasn't even interested. Terrible stuff. And that would be the same deal with the Star Wars movie. He'd just be doing it for a paycheck. He needs to do stuff where, and all directors do, to be fair, need to do stuff that they're actively interested in, which is difficult to do. I understand, because you've got to take jobs for money. But people's talents are better served in something which they're actively interested in, it seems. Clearly, you'd think that was not rocket science, but it seems to be. Anyway, closing thoughts. Go on. I've talked enough.
Closing thoughts. He will not be missed. He probably had little chance of creating anything that would have felt like Star Wars, which I think is really important for anything that's future Star Wars. I think in order to bring Star Wars back to life, you need somebody that understands what they're doing, and I don't think he does.
Yeah. Agreed. So Kathleen Kennedy, you're fired. Not Kathleen Kennedy is fired. Kathleen Kennedy says, you're fired. Kathleen Kennedy should be fired. But.
Well, actually, some news on that front. Rumor broke out in a couple of different places that lends us to believe that she may not survive beyond the second quarter of next year.
That was always the case. It was 2025 there.
But it wasn't guaranteed that she would leave.
But it's not guaranteed now.
It's not. But the rumor came out. It's interesting.
Who from?
Well, Pro and some other places with different similar rumors. Okay. They covered it this morning. I
Oh,
imagine
mate, I've
it'll
been
be.
busy. I've got
I
I've got a
I
lot.
know.
I've been doing a lot of stuff today.
Well, yeah, with your foot date that you gave everybody.
Yeah, my foot date, my bloody stupid manky foot. Ugh. Anyway, all right, guys, cool. Let's move on from bloody this
Yes,
nonsense.
please. Yes, we're
Title
done.
TC. So we got some super chats to
Hey.
get to. We got one super chat to get to,
Okay.
and then we will move on to something else. So we've got a super chat from it is from John Music, but he sends it over on Streamlabs. I believe you tried to send this via YouTube. YouTube didn't do it, so you sent it via Streamlabs, like I asked you to, and Streamlabs sent it. Streamlabs provides. All right. Streamlabs does not block stuff. So yeah, Streamlabs is significantly better, guys. It really is. So for $5, this is way off topic as well, guys, but this is absolutely fine. Again, things can be off topic. I will say, John, this is probably best served actually for Thursday's stream with Bo, but we'll try and answer it to some level of satisfaction for you as well. Why do you guys think no studio has attempted a serious take on the antediluvian pre-global cataclysm of 12,900 years ago? The Anunnaki or Atlantean Empire eras. Culture, do you want your take on that first? Try?
I think you could
Answer.
probably. I think you could probably do it rather respectively and kind of build up a different kind of a culture based on what you would imagine an alien race would be existing like on the on the planet on Earth. I think you would have to have a very inventive and creative filmmaker that kind of had a vision of what that would be and be able to completely world build. I think you would need a big mind. I mean, I don't know that we have very many of those left in the world as far as that kind of creative. I think the studios probably would avoid something like that big because it would have to be massive. There would have to be a massive investment up front in hopes that they could tell a brilliant story. If you only had one place you could go with it, you'd have to probably, instead of being a film project, you'd probably want to turn it into a television project in the same vein as not Three Body Problem, but
yeah, similar. In fairness, no.
yeah, but you'd have to do that, and then I think the only people that can afford to do it are either Apple or Amazon. I think that's the only place you could get the money. So I think really the limiting factor would be the finances. I don't know. What do you think, Nate?
Well, so for those that don't know, just so for this may be completely alien to a lot of people. So antediluvian world, right, is the world that existed before the flood cataclysm. So it's it's biblical, essentially, to a degree. Just my knowledge on it's not huge either, in fairness. I think.
Wouldn't you have to kind of take like a foundation approach to it?
Yeah, you could do, I guess. I think so. Why has, I mean, the question is, why has no studio attempted a serious take on it? I mean, at the end of the day,
Money.
right? Well, no, but it's not. It's right. It's interest. So it's not just money. It's not just the investment in it. It's whether there's an interest in it. And as society has moved increasingly away from religion, I think the interest factor from a business perspective just actually isn't there. Because that's the core question, isn't it? It's why has no one done it? And society, you know, although now people are trending more, you know, to newfound religion, right? That is the trend now, born again Christians and things like that. There was a time where, religion has declined, and we're probably the least religious we've ever been in the West now. Christian religion, anyway. There's certainly some other religions popping up, that's for sure. And so I think by and large it's marketability, it's that factor. So yeah, you're right. Like, it's money, because why would they invest so much money into it? But why would they? It's a non-starter when they deem that there's not really any interest to it. And also, what would you do? Like, what kind of story would you do? You have to center it around a character.
Yeah.
The event itself could be interesting, obviously.
Could Noah or they Noah-like figure be a scientist? I mean, there's a lot of ways you could go with this, and you could create such an advanced society. Well, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to imagine this, dude. I'm trying to
All right, you asked me a question. I'm saying I would hate that. Just an answer.
I think you would have to envision the future to represent a past that may have been more advanced than we are in ways. And then you'd have to signal the end. You'd have to do it. You'd have to do it over multiple seasons. It's got to be a show. It cannot be a film, and it's going to be expensive.
But I also think you could take it from one religious aspect. You could take it from sort of, I don't want to use the word conspiracy theory because that's not what it is. Alternate history theory, I guess. I don't know how you classify it. You could approach it from different angles, couldn't you? Religious as well as alternate history aspect. I think you could do a serious alternate history aspect, which could actually be really fun and could be marketable. I think the religious aspect is significantly less marketable. I think an alternate history aspect would be actually quite marketable, to be honest. Like, really quite marketable. But yeah, cost, to be fair. I just think cost. There you go.
Yeah. I mean, you literally could have the building of the pyramids at some point along that. I mean, you could do a lot of things with it. Like, they were at the apex of technology, and it just was all swept away. I think you could do it. Like you said, though, it would take way too long to build out. You can't do it in a film. You can't even do it. I don't think you could do it in 2 films. I think you'd really have to make it a series.
Yeah. Well, there you go, John. Yeah. Hopefully we answered your question. Yeah. You'd probably get a better answer, in fairness, from Bo, I think. The history bro, who is here on Thursdays. This is not massively my forte, my dude. But thank you so much. We got one from Crazy118118 for $5. Says, if you was the new director of a Thor film with Chris Hemsworth in the lead in the current MCU timeline, where would you take it? Bin off that stupid child he's got with him randomly now, because that's a thing. He's Papa Thor, Uncle Thor. So I'd bin off that stupid child, because that strong arms his position doing anything now. Maybe get her, I don't know, stolen. I don't know. I don't know what I do, to be fair. I think that they've backed it into a corner and screwed the character over now. So I actually don't think you'd be able to do too much anymore. Culture, what do you reckon?
You'd have to ignore the last film. Love and Cancer would have to be kicked to the curb. Like, he wakes up and it's a fever dream.
Yeah.
It's a terrible, you have a Bob Newhart moment. Because I don't know how you get out from you've painted yourself in a corner. I don't know how you get out of that.
They have, haven't they? They've screwed it.
Yeah.
They've absolutely screwed it.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, Professor Arlo, I would totally fridge the character. Indeed. Boom. Close the door, throw a padlock on that. Done. I'm gonna get in trouble for that. But that's what I would do.
You do it. That's fine. Well, there you go. Crazy woman. I honestly, I wish I could give you a better answer, my dude.
Me too.
But I think that they have, anything's possible with writing, but you're asking me to try to fix several years worth now of very bad storytelling, and where they've left the character. If they didn't leave the character with that stupid child, look, maybe just go into the future and just be like, she's grown up and left home. it's fine. Thor's by himself again. Like, just do that. Thor's immortal, right? Like, he ages very slowly, so he just looked the bloody same. I just do that. That's what I do. There you go. I do that. And then I'd have him a serious take. Have Valkyrie get brutally murdered at the start of the Thor film.
Sign me up for that.
Insufferable. She can't fucking act.
Fridge her.
So yeah, have her be brutally murdered.
And we get to watch.
Yeah, no, 100%. And then Thor has to save the day and reclaim his rightful place as essentially Odin, basically. That's what I would do.
We're so nice.
I don't care. Tessa Thompson's dog shit, so she can go away.
Well, Rita Ora was interested, so there you go.
What?
Rita Ora was interested.
She's gross as well.
Well, that was the Australian thruple right there, dude. We just talked about it.
They're nasty ass, honestly. Anyway, let's go.
Ooh.
So, two-pronged. Bit of news actually came out before we got started on this, by the way.
Yeah.
So we're going to be covering something else within all of this, which is actually quite major, because there's apparently even more reasons as to why they cancelled it. And it's not the stuff listed here. So some interesting stuff. What were you going to say, Culture?
Well, there's somebody that probably could add to this conversation.
Yeah, okay. I'll bring him in a minute. It's fine, yeah. So let's have a look at this anyway. So basically, this isn't a huge grand reveal. Jeff Snyder just says the Acolyte was cancelled because it didn't get enough views, right? Oh, shock horror. Oh my God. Oh, no way. Obviously. Insiders explained that the Acolyte was cancelled because viewership was bad, and that there's really nothing more to it than that, even though at least one cast member said they were surprised by the decision. You don't need insiders to know that, Jeff.
Mm-mm.
All right. I'm told that the Acolyte's viewership collapsed following the first 2 episodes. What, like everyone else was reporting?
Mm-hmm.
Well done, Jeff. You don't need insiders to tell you that. You just look at Nielsen's ratings, mate. Like, the In Snyder behind on everything, apparently. Whereas with Andor, viewership steadily climbed throughout the season. So the show was renewed for season 2. Andor also drew exceptional reviews, whereas the Acolyte's reviews were more mixed. I was aware, I thought Andor had a deal where it had to have season 1 and season 2 made.
Originally, it was 5 seasons, but the viewership, Andor was originally going to be 5 seasons, and because the viewership was not as good, they just took it and was going to finish it up with the 2nd season.
Really?
Yep.
You got a report on that?
Yeah. There's
because I could have sworn it was always going to be 2.
Yeah, they talked about it before the first season even aired. I'll see if I can pull the article on it, and I'll put it in private chat.
Huh. Well, it also says, like all shows, The Acolyte was subject to an extensive notes process, but at the end of the day, it was very much the show that Headland wanted to make. Snyder also commented on a recent rumor that Keanu Reeves was originally up for a role in the series and believes he was indeed Headland's first choice to play Jedi Master Soul. I wonder if he would have got given a different name, seeing as the Korean guy was called Soul. And no one else gets that joke.
Well, I was looking at this, making sure this article. I just found it, so I apologize.
That joke was great. Wasted on you guys.
I smiled. I laughed. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they would have changed the name.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, they were playing off of celestial signs throughout the show. So soul, sun.
Yeah. Well, this isn't a huge surprise, but how many? Nick, do you know how many people have signed that terrible petition?
It's over 50,000 now. not like that's going to change anything. Of course, we started up the anti-Renew the Acolyte petition along, and so did several other. There are several of them out there, which is basically a total troll petition. None of these petitions are going to do jack shit. The show's not coming back. There's been other petitions that have gotten the 500,000s, and it changed nothing.
The remake, the last season of Game of Thrones, is at like 1.8 million. So
yeah, that's right. That one did cross 1 million. Yeah. So all these people are just wasting their time. The show's done. It's not coming back.
I have signed all the petitions. I signed the one to keep it. I signed the one to bring it back. I signed the one to keep it canceled. I signed them all. I'm a YouTuber. It's whatever it is, content. That's right. I am. I'm hedging my bets. Look, the Renew the Acolyte one that I actually did for the Stinger that you guys just watched a minute ago. That was 50,797 when I grabbed it this morning. So it's well on its way. But there are so many like do not renew the Acolyte, keep Acolyte canceled. There's like 5 or 6 don't bring this piece of garbage back ones. So there you are.
Jesus. Well, again, it got cancelled because it was garbage. No one was watching it. It's as simple as that. Everyone can cry hard about it. No one will be crying as hard as me, however, because I won't be able to buy my Toyota Celica, which I would love to buy. I'm just going to be stuck with this car, which I've currently got at the moment. Woe with me, I guess. What a shame. Just this lowly old car. But, it is what it is. Anyway, there's some more information here. So this, I sort of discovered just before we actually got started on the show today. So apparently, and this is published not that long ago. So this is kind of like breaking news. It's not really breaking news. But it's interesting. If true. You heard about this, Nick? Do you know about this yet or not? All right. Breaking news for Nick, the Star Wars fanatic. Among the shows ending or cancelled in 2024 was Disney Plus's The Acolyte. With the latest Star Wars series having run its 8-episode season from June through July, it was set at the end of the High Republic era and before the events of the Skywalker saga, but didn't last long enough to make any eventual connections, as Disney Plus, not surprisingly, cancelled The Acolyte earlier this month. Now a new Star Wars rumor has emerged that could help explain why the cancellation happened. Ever since The Acolyte's fate was sealed, fans have been doing whatever it takes to save the Star Wars series. Signing petitions is apparently whatever it takes, guys.
Yeah.
All right.
Not raising money to pay for a second season, which would probably do more good than the petition.
That's whatever it takes in 2024. Just signing a fucking petition. Anyway, not only for a potential second season, but also to ward off the worry that it might be taken off Disney Plus completely in the near future. Please take it off.
Yeah.
As disappointing and frustrating as the news was, there seems to be a somewhat reasonable explanation for why the service didn't balk at pulling the plug, even if it doesn't completely smooth things over. Yeah, the reasonable explanation is they paid $180 million for this garbage and no one watched it. That's reason enough. Anyway, the Insider's Jeff Snyder reports that Lucasfilm is, quote, developing several new shows that simply haven't been announced yet, which is to say, the companies involved apparently have more episodic franchise projects in the works and thus didn't deem it necessary to move forward with a series whose divisiveness overshadowed its viewership. So apparently, the Insider, the guy who states the absolute obvious all the bloody time from his insiders that he could find out just from looking at Nielsen ratings, like we did way before he even said anything. Don't know why this guy gets traction, to be fair, genuinely. He's saying that Lucasfilm is creating some new shows. What do we think about that? Also, that's not a reason as to why they'd cancel The Acolyte. Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, you can't... This... Apparently, it didn't deem necessary to move forward with another show. It's like, well, yeah, because it was shit. That's the only reason.
Yeah, and the
If it was
viewership was
good
shit.
and you're developing others, you'd still make the good one as well, wouldn't you? Obviously. So go on then, Nick. First thoughts, because this is breaking news. Breaking news.
Yeah.
News.
I can't. I'm so surprised by this news. I'm glad he was here to tell us these things. You know, to quote a Han Solo line. Well, I'm glad you're here to tell us these things. Will someone take this professor in the back and plug him into the hyperdrive? But yeah, it's not surprising at all. The viewership numbers were shit. Nobody liked the show other than the 50,000 people that actually signed this petition that's going to do nothing. And Disney's not going to take and spend another $180 million on a show, which it was probably more than that. It was probably more total spent. It was probably more than 180 million.
I can't wait to find out how much.
Yeah, to do a second season of a show that steadily declined in viewership and dropped off by the end of the season, by the finale, and then had the audience rating that it had, which is currently at 18%, which is the worst audience rating of any Star Wars project ever in the history of the world. It makes no sense for them to do a second season. Like all these people that are like complaining about trying to save the show and get them to bring it back. What incentive do they have? Like I said, if you want them to renew the season, all of you people that want that, start a GoFundMe, raise 150 million or so, because they could probably do the second season for a lot cheaper, and pay for the show to come back to where it's not going to cost Disney really jack squat to make the show. But they'll never do that because most of these people are weirdos living in their mom's basement and probably don't have jobs. So
you took all the best lines, Nick. Yeah, thanks for that. No, look, there's no money in the show. There's actually, honestly, the argument could be made that there's no money in anything that they've made for Disney Plus. They've actually depleted their value. They've depleted Lucasfilm's value. They've depleted the film value of not only Star Wars, Lucasfilm, and anything associated with it, but they've depleted the value of Marvel at the same time. Creating homework is not a solution to move forward on. The movie-going audience that doesn't subscribe to your streaming shows isn't going to go see this, and they don't want to go see a movie that they had to do homework on. I will argue that despite the popularity of Mandalorian, because you'll be having the Mando and Grogu film, it's not going to have the kind of box office that they dream it will. You can't just slap Star Wars on something and make people like it anymore. It doesn't work.
Nope.
And people are going to be like, well, I don't have Disney Plus, so I'm not going to go see this movie. That's going to happen. Do you know why? Do you know why Deadpool and Wolverine worked? There's no homework.
That's not technically true.
Well, if you'd seen all the movies, there wasn't any homework. The two main characters that were there, you're familiar with. At some point, you've seen them in movies before. Deadpool, one of the biggest R-rated films of all time. The second one was very good. This one set all-time records.
The only pushback I'd give is Loki seasons 1 and 2 to understand the time people. What do they call it again?
And yet, exposition in the first 15 minutes of that film took care of a lot of those concerns. Because while you may not understand some of the things that you're describing because you didn't watch the Loki bologna sausage, you didn't have to because Ryan Reynolds made fun of the dumb shit.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
devaluing, and at the same time acknowledging that nobody watches these shows, and you shouldn't, because they shouldn't matter in the film, and that's the problem. Anyway, you don't have to agree with my view. I think eventually other people will parrot my view and come around to it because I think when we get to this movie, it's not going to do as well as they hope.
What movie are you talking about?
Brogru and Manbro. Mandu and
right.
Grogu.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's not going to do very well for numerous reasons, not just because of that, to be fair. It's also because the series has declined in quality. So mainly, I think it's that one. Olaf, our fantastic moderator, has super chatted over on Streamlabs. You too, ladies and gents, can help support the show itself by super chatting via Streamlabs. Link is pinned to the top of the chat. YouTube takes 30%, so don't send money that way. And YouTube blocks comments as well, whereas if you send it via Streamlabs, they don't.
And they
So
charge
that's
you a fee
benefit.
for your super
And
chat.
tax, and you pay tax too.
Well,
But Olaf says new Star Wars shows, and KK hasn't announced any of them. I don't believe any of that. More or less believe Skeleton Crew and Andor 2 would be the last we'll see. No faith we'll get a Rey or Mando movie either. I believe Lucasfilm was dead after these two. I do think the Mando movie will happen.
yeah,
that's
it's for sure
their last
happening.
hurrah. The Rey movie's more in doubt. The Mando movie will
Yeah.
happen. Like, I think that absolutely 100% will happen. But
Yeah.
the Rey movie is, yeah.
And
choice.
also somebody that is directly involved with the Ahsoka series actually said that they are actually going to start filming season 2 of Ahsoka this next April. So that show's happening also, unless between now and then they cancel it. But as of right now, they got a green light to start filming in April of next year for Ahsoka season 2. So that's looking to be happening. Of course, Skeleton Crew, which comes out later this year, Mando, Grogu, and that's really it for Star Wars that we know of.
Yeah.
That's for sure happening.
Larry Cordes says for $5 says, not sure if you covered this yet, but did you guys hear that Keanu Reeves was supposed to play Jedi Master Soul? Talk about dodging a bullet, Keanu for the win. So yeah, we sort of covered that. Didn't really get you guys' opinion on that though, to be fair, about whether he would be good or bad. What would you reckon about Keanu Reeves? I mean, he needs to just stay away from Star Wars, quite frankly, I think. But you might find things something different. Maybe he could be the one which brings new life to it. I don't know. I'd say avoid.
Yeah, he made a smart move, if that is true, by not involving himself with this crap show. And the thing is, even if they did use him in another show, and maybe the Knights of the Old Republic era or something, where they go back even further, it might generate a little bit of interest. But the thing is, regardless of who you have in there in the roles of anything, if the writing is shit, it's not going to matter who you have in there. You could have Tom Cruise and freaking
dude, you get an all-star team of actors in there. If the writing is garbage, it's going to be garbage. And
exactly.
Look, I think, Nick, let me sum that up. Everything Lucasfilm has put together as far as writing goes has been garbage.
Yep.
Do you have faith? Do you have faith in the what was her name? Shamaine
Obid Chinoy.
Chinoy. Do you have faith in anything that chick's gonna make?
Absolutely not.
No.
Yeah. Like I said, if these are the people that they're turning your IPs over to, they don't have a path forward.
No.
Yeah.
Because the actors are there to do what the writers and the directors tell them to do. And it doesn't matter who's in the role. If everything else is shit, then it's going to be shit. So,
good
on Keanu Reeves. I would say any mainstream actor or, should stay away from any Marvel and Star Wars projects at this point.
Yeah, no, you won't see me argue with you there, to be honest. And I also think, just no named actors should go there. No one should work for them at all, ever. Anyway, let's move on from this.
Plus, they're not activists, and that's what they seem to like to hire.
Yeah. So, Olaf has highlighted a comment. Olaf is actually in one of the top 10 Streamlabs supporters. Yep, Yes, you are, Olaf, my dude.
Oh.
So another cool thing about Streamlabs is that there is a sort of ranking system for, how many times you support, basically, which is all public. It's quite a cool little way just to be like, oh yeah, you support the show X, Y, and Z. But speaking of supporting the show, so at the end of every show, we're not ending, but at the end of every show, there's a closing credits. If you'd like to have your name put in the closing credits by showing your support on a more regular basis, which is super chats are great. A more regular, recurring support is obviously better. So I've got a Patreon. I don't really push it that much. I'm trying to. If you could become a Patreon, you do get benefits. I interact with you guys. I sort of post. I use it like a forum as well as posting some content there as well. So that's linked down below in the description box. And Olaf is putting it in the chat now as well. And if you become a Patreon of the channel, you will actually get your name included in the closing credits. And we're renewing that very, very soon because we're entering into season 4 of the Hcast. So if you get it done this week, you will be in the closing credits, which is a cool little thing to do. And it's just a great way to support the show and the channel on a more regular basis whilst getting some good content and interacting with me on a different level. It's a different contextual level to interact with me.
Plus, it makes me.
That's all.
I was just going to say. Plus, it makes me have to do more work.
Yeah, it does, and that's always fun.
Yeah.
Because this guy likes to bitch and moan, so it's good to, push him on to doing stuff. Right. Well, anyway, we've got another topic now, another box office topic. Actually, I thought I'd separate them because I think that they're interesting to go into. So, Alien Romulus has now crossed $225.4 million worldwide. Pretty bloody good. I thought we'd just talk about it, really.
Yeah, that's
talk
awesome.
about what that means for the franchise overall, where things could go. I think it's interesting. So I'll just shut up. Thoughts? Get your thoughts first.
Go, Nick. Go, me first. Okay, Nick, go, Nick. Go.
Even though I did not like the film as much as Mr. H,
did you watch it a second time? Sorry, or not?
I did not, because I had company. I had friends come in from out of town, so I did not make a second viewing. I am going to watch it a second time, and like I said before, I did not hate the film. There's just some stuff in the film I had issues, but I digress. I'm happy that this film is doing well. I hope it does even more than this. I said to everybody when we talked about it, I think everybody should go out and see this, judge it for yourselves, and I would like to see him involved in future Alien projects. There's a lot that I really enjoyed and loved in this film, and I love the franchise. I mean, I'm an Alien and Predator franchise guy, just like I'm a Star Wars, Lord of the Rings guy too. I mean, there's several IPs that I absolutely love, and I want to see them do well, unless they're just complete trash, like current Star Wars and current Marvel projects. But the Alien Romulus movie was not on that scale of trash for me, not even close. So I'm happy that it's doing this, and for anybody out there that hasn't seen it, if you don't want to spend that much money, go see it on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon and pay matinee prices. It's definitely worth your time to go see. And hell, I'd like to see it hit 500. I don't think it'll hit that. I'm guessing top out is probably going to be 330, 350 maybe. But yeah, it's great news for the film. I'm happy for everybody involved in the project.
Yeah. Go on then, Culture.
Hey, I'm with you, Nick. I think that this will get actually a little bit higher in the 300 million category, maybe even creep barely over the line to 400. I think that as this film continues to grow and with some delayed international release numbers, I think this will get there. The fall off was less than anticipated. in its second weekend. I was expecting a little bit steeper, but or I guess it's its third weekend. Excuse me. But I think it fell off about 61% last weekend, and now only 35%. It's staying in a decent number of theaters. There's not a lot of competition. That's the other thing. So, like, if you are hard up to see a film, this might be it. I think the only things coming up this weekend are Reagan biopic and the City of Dreams, which is going to be a tough watch, kind of like Sound of Freedom was, because it's basically the same kind of a conversation. But this film will bum you out, but I'm going to see it anyway. So the actress that's in it's supposed to be very exceptional, so I think it'll be well worth my time. But I've got to say that I'm thinking high 300s, so I'm with you there, Nick, but it might even creep over 400. I think it's going to do another solid weekend.
Yeah.
So maybe we end up with another, let's say 35 million from the overseas number, and maybe, a decent 20s, or I know it didn't get there this week, but maybe another. I think it sticks around 18, because there is Jackal to go see this next weekend. So, and this is a holiday weekend here in the States, folks, coming up.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's was it Labor or Memorial?
And this is going to be one of those times where you're going. It's Labor Day, by the way, because we're going to be laboring even harder, Nick.
Yeah.
Come on now. So, but it's I think it's going to do well. I do. I think you're going to see through the week. I think you'll see probably another 20 million here in the States in revenue. And maybe somewhere around 10 in international. So
I don't know if it'll do another 20 million this week, because it dropped down to sub 20 million. It did $16 million. So
with the holiday weekend being this
overall,
weekend, it's
maybe
possible.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it as that, because we do have a holiday weekend coming up.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but looking at the fact that it could beat out Covenant makes me very happy, because that film was garbage.
Yeah.
So,
Well, basically has, hasn't it, already? Like, pretty much.
It's
not far off.
It's very close. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I really
240 odd million its entire run, if I remember rightly.
Yeah. No, you're right. I think it's even in this article somewhere. But yeah. Yeah. So, and I think this last weekend of It Ends With Us will be the last weekend of any performance from that film. But that's just my opinion. Like I said, there are maybe 3 films we're seeing coming out this weekend, and 2 of them are going to bum you out. So, yeah.
What are the other ones coming out?
City of Dreams is super bummer. There's another super bummer one. I'm trying to remember the name right now. It escapes me. But the other film is the Ronald Reagan biopic with Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid. Yeah. I like Dennis Quaid.
Yeah, I'm going to see 2 of the 3. I don't know if I can see 2 bummer movies the same weekend.
So the Reagan one's not getting good reviews?
Oh no, I think that'll be all right. But it's City of Dreams will bum you out, dude. If Sound of Freedom was like at least hopeful, City of Dreams is going to like bum people out.
Oh, so it's going to be a downer.
Yeah, but it's important downer. It's getting a lot of heat in Hollywood too. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, look, personally, whatever you think of the film itself, we're not really talking about the quality of the film anyway. More just the box office. Box office numbers are pretty damn good.
Yeah,
to be fair.
Yep.
I think that they will see this as pretty big success. Difficult to know overall, but I can't see why not. Again, this movie was going to be on streaming. It wasn't going to earn any money at all. They moved it to theatrical. It's done pretty damn well. So,
and one thing I will add that's kind of surprising about the numbers for this is I'm actually surprised that the international box office numbers are higher than the domestic. I figured
it's all because of the Chinese, apparently.
Yeah,
Chinese numbers.
Yeah, I figured the domestic would be a lot higher than it is right now. But yeah, overall, yeah, it's great news for the film.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's the sort of breathing new life into the franchise from a
Mhm.
Yes.
financial perspective that was needed. So again,
Yeah.
whether you like the film or not, I liked it. It has breathed new life into the franchise from a studio perspective because of the financial. Because the studio is going to see this and go, "Yeah, goddamn, that's great," you know. And then you
I
got to remember as well, they've invested in what have they invested in?
Noah
The
Hawley's
TV show.
Noah Hawley's new TV thing. Yeah.
Mm.
And that could go on multiple seasons too if it's any good. What's called Alien Earth, I believe. Or is that just a
Yes.
tentative title?
Yeah. No, that's what it's called. It's officially called Alien Earth,
Okay.
which will be
Yeah.
really, really interesting.
Yeah. If he's able to pull it off,
Nervous about that one.
I am too. But if he can pull it off and give us
Noah
something
Hawley's
neat,
great. You shouldn't be nervous. You shouldn't be nervous at all.
Yeah.
Noah Hawley has a very long track record of very good shows.
Yeah.
yeah, I want him to do a good job with it, and I want it to be intriguing. I want to see more than one corporation. I want to see more than Wayland Yutani. I have said this 1,000 times. I want the other bad companies out there to be shown for the Marxist authoritarian corporations that they are.
Yeah, because if you read the lore, a lot of the comics and the books, there's a lot of different factions out there. It's not just Wayland Yutani. And the thing is with the alien Earth, like if they just would have said it was on another planet or in space somewhere, like I'd feel a lot better. But the thing about it being on Earth and it being a prequel is that's my only concern about Earth.
I don't see the issue with it. I mean, look, the company knew about LV-426 from the Prometheus files. It's literally they knew about it anyway. They always knew about it. That was the whole point.
I hate it.
It just goes to show how nefarious they actually are. You remember these mega corporations, what side knew about it, what sort of faction within the company knew about it. I think it's interesting. We've never got to remember, right? We've only ever watched these movies from an outside company perspective. We've never actually watched a movie, and this is what I would love at one point, is a movie from the company's perspective. Because you've never seen a movie from the company's perspective. The inner workings of the company. We don't know. And I think that that's actually really quite compelling. I mean, that story writes itself. There's a lot of stuff you could do with that. You could unpack, all the different factions, different divisions, vying for supremacy within the company. Who's going to turn the most profit? What could they do? These assets that they need for these things. There's some great ideas there. I don't think it's as concerning as you think, because again, it'll be a prequel. Yeah, it's a bit like, oh, okay, interesting. Maybe maybe it wrecks the law, but it actually doesn't from the perspective of them always knowing. And it's not Wayland Yutani. It's not focused on Wayland Yutani. It's focused on the Prodigy Corporation. So it's a completely different company. Wayland Yutani's in it, but the focus is Prodigy Corporation. So we'll see. We'll see.
I just want to see. I just want to see that world, and I mean, that's the thing is, if you do a good show, you can show way more of the world than if you do one film at a time, and it costs less.
Can you imagine if they would have made Breaking Bad a movie?
It would have sucked.
That would have been bad.
You would have had to cut out so much of what Gilligan put together in that. Vince Gilligan really did a good job with that story.
It wouldn't remotely be the same, would it? That's the thing.
Yeah.
It wouldn't remotely be the same.
Yeah.
We've got some super chats about this, by the way, guys.
Oh, sweet.
He's been very, very patient because it was actually one of the first super chats this evening.
Oh, wow.
2 hours ago, Doug.
Oh, wow.
VA loves horror super chat $5. I had to wait for the topic, my dude, and says, thank you, Mr. Agent Culture, for stating that Alien Romulus is doing good financially.
Yeah.
Some people saying it's not as crazy. It still has a 3rd and 4th weekend to go. Well, and more. Yeah. And more.
Yeah.
Physical and digital sales later. Also, it has good word of mouth.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, you're 100% right. I'm surprised because I keep hearing good things. And anytime people are like, "Oh yeah, it was a pretty good movie," yeah, that's a point of feedback. I think you got to take into consideration because that's what they're going to say to everybody, not just me.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's like, hey, did you see that movie? Yeah, because I mean, there's a group of us that see movies. We talk about it, right? Of course, I have my group here of guys. We talk about movies all the time, but out in the real world, because I still have to get out there sometimes. That's part of the conversation. It's like, hey, what'd you see? There's not much to see. Most of the time we've already seen it. So we talk a little bit about it, but, and that's going to be a problem, guys. The next year, I know I said it a little while ago, but the next year is going to be like, bleh. It'd be nothing to see.
We'll see. There might be some TV shows. We shall see. Darren has super chatted $6.63. It says, pleasant day to all of HCast. I wish Mr. H a speedy and strong recovery. Thank you. Genuinely, thank you. When I watched Alien Romulus for the second time, I noticed that the actual brother and sister had different accents from each other. The brother had a British accent and the sister American. Well, it could be like adopted sister. I mean, they also are quite literally different. Skin tones as well. So there is that. Like,
maybe they're half brother and sister.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows? Adopted, whatever. Literally, who knows? But yeah, you are right. I don't think it matters that much, really, in the context of it, because we don't really know how they've done it. But yeah, I mean, you're right.
And they don't play that big of a role. They're not like
no, they don't. I don't think it's that law breaking. To be fair,
Yeah.
I think depending on how they do it, but yeah. We've got super chat here from Accent Seller. Says, I hate Prometheus and Covenant and the ending of Romulus. Another prequel is going to ruin the suspense once again of the mystery of Alien. Terror thrives in the unknown. Doesn't need to be explained. I don't think they're explaining the alien in Alien Earth, my dude. The story in Alien Earth is predominantly all about AI consciousness and synthetic bodies and things like that. That's actually the narrative, and they use Alien presumably as some form of plot device for some of that as well. The alien isn't actually the primary focus of the show, though. The primary narrative is all about synthetic humans and sort of transference of consciousness and stuff. So hopefully that will set your mind at ease. Probably won't, but maybe it will. So we also have, so we'll move on from this. We've got some other super chats which I've waited to get to, so we get off this topic. Larry Quadowitz, super chat $5. This is about The Crow, and says, Mr. H, Nick and Culture. I'm a huge fan of the original Crow.
Same.
Do you think I might enjoy this one more if I see it in Spanish first? What? I'm on a trip in Mexico and I don't speak Spanish. Maybe I'll be less disappointed. Bad lines won't faze me. It's not so much the bad lines, mate. It's the pace. It's just, nothing really happens.
And you'll be lost until the third act.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say no, Larry. No, don't. It's probably best not to watch it in Spanish either. Just wait for it to release on download and just watch it there for like $1. That's what I would say. Culture.
I'm not even going to watch it. I'll never see that film. Never, ever.
If you like The Crow, don't ever watch this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those films that first one with Brandon Lee should have been it. The sequels never were any good. They didn't amount or come close to the first one. This one is even worse from what I'm hearing. But yeah, it's one of those movies that the original Crow, that's the only Crow.
Yeah.
There is no more.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. We've got a super chat here from Gino X1987 for $5 Says, how would you feel about an R-rated Thor where his daughter gets ripped in half in front of him like a Mortal Kombat fatality? I'd love it. That'd be great. Why not? Get that stupid adopted daughter gone.
Yeah, but I think it's simpler just to have him wake up and go, wow, I had a terrible dream.
No, they're not going to do that though.
I know, but that'd be the funniest way to solve that problem. And Thor's supposed to be
Would.
somewhat witty.
Yeah, it'd be like the Dallas.
No,
what was it, Dallas?
No,
or,
it was Newhart, Bob Newhart.
but wasn't Dallas or
Oh yeah, when who shot JR?
Yeah, and then he was in the shower at the beginning.
Yeah, it was the same thing. The dream thing. We need that. But that's what you need. You've got to hit the reset button so you can get the people back. And look, I mean, yeah, it'd be kind of satisfying for us if certain characters were ripped in half, like maybe Valkyrie or whatever. But I still feel like it's more efficient just to do it in as short a period of time as possible, and don't tie any emotional weight to it. I think that's something that maybe is a mistake. Sometimes it's done in these situations. So, not to push back all that hard. I mean, I wouldn't be crying over this, but I'm just gonna say I think I'd handle it a little bit more briefly.
I thought he was just having a bit of fun, to be honest. So
okay,
I say yes, rip her in half.
All right.
Yeah,
Nick?
that'd be awesome. I'd be all for it. I mean, it'll never happen.
That's Coach taking it way too seriously.
I've tried to problem solve. Come on, I've been doing that my whole life. I'm a problem.
That's a problem solved right there. Just rip her in half.
Everybody wanted Alien 3 to be a dream, the sequel trilogy to be a dream.
And I still think they are. I don't remember anything from any of those.
Fair.
Nothing.
Fair. All right. Well, we've got another super chat here from Adam Henson. Says, in reference to your earlier Doctor Who video, that's right, ladies and gents, I did a Doctor Who video just before going live. I think Jim Parsons would have been a great Doctor.
He's not British.
Yeah. Hey?
He's not British.
Well, neither is the current one, to be fair.
Channing Tatum's not
Cajun.
True. I mean, look, yeah, it should always be a British actor, I think. But I don't hate it. I don't hate Jim Parsons as a Doctor Who. If you're doing like a fan pick, I guess. Maybe. Don't hate it. Got another super chat over on Streamlabs from Darren for $6.63. Says, however, Andy, Rain, the Xenomorphs, and Facehuggers were my favorites. And this is a follow-up to his other comment about the strange accents that were going on. Facehuggers were brilliant, weren't they? I want one of those Facehuggers. That'd be so good. You've seen the animatronics on them. So good. So good. Absolutely brilliant. I just as a quick aside, I had a very, very recent follow over on Twitter from someone involved in Alien Romulus, and dialogue has opened up. Dialogue has begun, and I'm trying to coordinate. Well, I'm trying to get an interview basically, which could be quite good for anyone that likes the film, I guess. Anyone that's sort of interested in the film itself. So we'll see what comes from that. So yeah, we'll see. But hopefully get an interview. That'd be really, really good actually. Good to just shoot the breeze. So that was really vague, wasn't it? Fede Alvarez followed me basically and sent me a message. So I've obviously extended dialogue and requested a conversation basically. So I don't know why I was being intentionally vague there. There's not really any point. So anyway, there you go. So
oh wow. So you actually might get to interview him?
Pardon?
Maybe? You actually might get to interview him or have a
Well, I don't know. I mean, he followed me and just says I've watched some of your videos. They're really good. Thanks for all the support and stuff like that. And I just said, yeah, no worries. Thanks for making a good film. Like I wouldn't thank me, just thanks for making a pretty decent film. But and then I just said, look, I appreciate Fox's previous PR departments were a nightmare to work with. They were not great. I've had some interactions with 20th Century Fox's PR departments. They're not good. But I said, look, I appreciate PR is not great, but if you get, free reign to do interviews and stuff like that, it'd be really good to have a conversation. And I know my audience would absolutely love it. So let me know. Like, no hard feelings either way, but let me know if you are keen. So we'll see.
I thought the PR for Romulus was great.
Yeah, no, it was.
Yeah.
PR
Previous though was
down who directors and actors can talk to.
Yeah.
So they have blacklists of people who can and cannot be, used basically.
Yeah, we're on the blacklist for Lucasfilm because we had several people involved with Disney Star Wars projects that wanted to come on our channel. They said, let me talk to Lucasfilm, and then we never heard from them again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is tricky. I mean, the thing is, so I interviewed the underwater director, William Eubank. I interviewed him a few times now. He's a good dude. And that was that 20th Century one? That was owned by Disney, but then it was 20th Century, wasn't it? I think, if I remember rightly. And he just went full steam ahead. He didn't really care. He was like, yeah, I'll do it. Why not? Yeah, that was 20th Century Studios. So maybe they've changed their departments. Who knows?
It's weird.
We'll see.
It's really weird because if you think about it, we've said nothing but positive things about the film and have been overjoyed with its performance. It just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't matter. It's all studio politics. So yeah, you have to toe the right line, which it just is what it is. It's what it's fine. It's just cool that some dialogue's been opened up, just to, at the very least, see anyway. But moving on, we'll shuffle on now, guys. If you want to help out the show, this is funded by you guys for you guys. So if you would like to chuck in $1 or $2, ask a question, super chats are the way to do it. We've had a lot come in via YouTube, but I will say YouTube has taken 30% of everyone's super chat. So if you could send it via Streamlabs, it's better. They don't take that 30%, and you can say a little bit more for your money that way as well. The character limit's better. The link to that is pinned to the top of the live chat. So please do send your super chats via Streamlabs. And we're about to be entering season 4 of the HCast. Yep, that's right. We're steamrolling through these seasons. So if you want to be included in the closing credits, become a Patreon of the channel, which you can find linked down below in the description box. And you can pledge some support for some benefits over on Patreon. So there you go. Anyway, let's move on. Well, so Star Wars Outlaws, what an epic shit show. There are just more and more bugs on this thing. There's quite a lot of bugs anyway. We've seen a hell of a lot of bugs floating around, various gameplay mechanics. The latest one's very, very funny though. Shall we just watch it? I don't know if you guys have seen this. It's very funny. Just floating around the map. Just starts floating around the map. So here's Kay, just his mam Solo, literally dressed like Han Solo. Look at that, dressed like Han Solo. Because why wouldn't she be? Oh, pimp slap. Oh, and then she's just floating around. Don't quite think that was meant to happen, ladies and gents. Don't quite think that was meant to happen. Oh, and just for real, feminization's sakes, there's Mam Solo with Femme Greedo. That's a female Greedo.
She got a skirt on?
No, you hear her voice in. Obviously, I can't play the audio through this at the moment, but the voice is a female Greedo. Yeah.
Oh.
So there's Mam Solo. Pew 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 pew.
She does got a skirt on. Female Greedo.
Oh yeah.
Sort of
like a tunic type.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I see the side.
So there's Mam Solo saving the galaxy one bug at a time.
She is.
What is this?
Ugly character.
Oh my god! Look at this bug.
Walking in place.
What on earth was that? This is a AAA game, guys. This is worth like $120. $120 right there.
The atmospherics and those. Do you realize how shit those plants look?
I know. I just noticed that as well.
Oh,
what? Why are they moving all in one go?
Yeah, it's terrible.
Well, there you go. Wow. Anyway, there's more. It happened to other people. Just
Wow.
$120 or whatever it is.
I told everybody from the time this got announced and they dropped the pricing and the pre-order stuff. Ubisoft is one of the worst game studios out there next to EA. Do not buy this game. Do not.
Did you see the freak? That's like ice skating. It's like, hey, I'm gonna ice skate backwards, with the person I just knocked out. Dude, this game is hot garbage, man. We need to tell the world, hey, you investor people, this is dog shit.
Look how bad their stock is.
They're making dog shit.
Look at their stock.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
Yep. This studio is terrible. Absolutely terrible.
They've got worse stock than they had back in 2008.
Well,
that's embarrassing. Holy shit, man.
And right after 2004 there, where it started creeping up, that's really when the Assassin's Creed series really started taking off. And then
it's 2018 was their peak.
Let's see. So let me look at the years now. So from 2016 to 2020, they had a really good time. I wonder who was leading the globe. I wonder who was president of the United States. I mean, it's funny when you look at a lot of these companies that had this big run up. They did really well, and then not so much anymore. I wonder if it's tied to anybody like global leadership. I wonder.
Interesting.
Wow, that's so bad.
Yeah,
so bad. But this game has so many bugs anyway. Like this is one of the most hilarious ones.
Oh, this one was dumb. We covered this at that game place and just laughed.
Like just shooting a bloody wall. This is funny as well. So just knocks him out. She shoots this guy. He doesn't notice anything. It's just terrible.
Yeah.
This one's pretty bad as well, actually. I watched this one before. So I watched this. She gets hit off she hits into something and starts just falling in the air. Just floating in the air. But what is that? God. And again. This is just a supercut of her falling in the air. Watch. These are terrible mechanics. AAA games, everyone. $120. Watch it again. What the fuck?
It's terrible.
Absolutely isn't it?
Terrible.
She was in the speeder bike there.
They look. They don't have game devs anymore, dude. They have activists, and this is what happens when you don't have game devs.
Again.
By the way, usually you're projected forward. You don't go straight up in the air. Oh, this is going to be dumb.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah, like I told everybody, if you are just die hard on trying this game out, freaking get that Ubisoft Plus for 1 month.
Watch Jonas play it. Don't buy it. Don't even get the stupid pass.
I mean, I would agree, but definitely don't spend the 120 on it if you are wanting to get it.
We're trying to save y'all money. I mean, that's one of the reasons Jonas is going to play this dumb game starting today. So you're going to get to see that. You're going to get to hear the reviews. We got reviews coming out on Black Myth Wukong. But if you want a pretty game that you can play and won't be looking dumb like this, Black Myth Wukong. If you want to feel, if you want to play chick solo, then do what
you don't want to.
Nick said.
Play Pimp Slap.
A helmet with a bare hand.
No, a backhand. She pimp slaps him.
Yeah. Hey, she has adamantium bones. Sorry, I forgot. She's part Wolverine.
Yeah. If you're just diehard on playing a strong female chick character, just go get Horizon Forbidden West or something. That's actually got a good story to it. Or what's the other one that there's a Stellar Blade?
Yeah, Eve is great in that. Eve's a good character.
Yeah. I've started the game. I own it. I've not finished it yet, though.
Anyway, there you go. What do you, Nick? Closing thoughts on Star Wars Outlaws and a hugely buggy game. This will be a huge day one patch, won't it? What do you reckon?
Yeah, none of this is surprising. It's Ubisoft. Like I said, they're one of the worst game developers on the planet. And this has been going on for a long time with them. And between this and the Assassin's Creed coming out, the what's it called? Dark Black Shadow
the Shadow.
Yeah. It's gonna be terrible. Also, Ubisoft stock, I'm predicting right now, is gonna drop to right around $10 by the end of this year.
Reckon?
By the end of this year, after these two games come out, because the Assassin's Creed game comes out in November, right?
Yeah, we're gonna see we're gonna see triple failure here in the next 4 months. The reason why, season 9 of year 9 of the season 9 of year 3 or whatever it is. I don't know what it is, but of Rainbow Six, that one is about to release an operator in a wheelchair.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yes.
We're covering all this stuff on that gameplays, dude. So I'm looking at the next 4 months of Ubisoft going, well, if I had a giant cash amount, and we're not giving you stock advice at all, folks. We are YouTubers. Don't listen to us. We're not professionals. Talk to a market professional if you want to put.
Well, we've got good opinions. So maybe.
Yeah, but in these opinions, I'm just going to say, if I had like $100 million, I'd be short selling Ubisoft like a maniac right now.
Yeah. Yep. Same.
Well, anyway, closing thoughts, Culture.
Ubisoft is dumb. The amount of dumb has increased tenfold. The French are pig-headed idiots. Yeah, there's that.
Yeah, didn't they just arrest?
Yeah, they're anti-freedom. Yeah, anti-freedom of speech. Yeah, Durov. Pavel Durov.
Yeah, what was the name of the app? The
Telegram.
Yeah, Telegram. Yeah. F the French and Ubisoft.
Not all the French, just the leadership over there.
Yeah, leadership is what I was meaning specifically.
There it is.
Nah, that's the French.
Yeah,
British people can say that. We've got a hatred for the French. It's fine. This is what you're talking about.
We just did. I literally just edited a video for us for that. It'll be up on the channel tomorrow. We keep covering these stories. There's too much bad gaming news. Every once in a while we could say good thing. But when we do, I feel really good.
This, mate.
I know.
Look at the camber.
Yeah.
Where's he going with all that camber?
I don't know. Do you think that makes him move faster?
No, obviously it doesn't. What is this?
Imagine the hitbox on this thing, right? You have this giant hitbox with this operator, and it's in a small area, so you can just
drift. He's drifting.
There you go. Can look? All I know is if you imagine the grenade hitbox for this.
Yeah, absolutely terrible.
Why? There'll be someone in a wheelchair that's watching this, right?
Yeah.
There will.
Yeah.
Do you want this shit in a video game?
Absolutely not.
Operators also are in environments that are not ADA compliant. Because if you're an operator, there's a chance you're going to a Middle East country in most of these games, or Russia. They don't have ADA there, kids. You're not going to have ramps. It's just
the ever-loving space.
I mean, there's all problems.
Oh god. Well, anyway, there you go. Ubisoft is going downhill. Well, they've gone downhill. They're garbage.
Yeah. If I were you guys, I would just get if you got a PS5 or a Switch, get the Oregon Trail. It's
buy exclusively like Korean and Japanese video games from now on. Just do that. Don't buy this crap. Anyway, that's enough of that topic. That's enough of that.
Sorry.
That's done. All right, let's move on. And what we're going to move on to is what you got going on, Culture?
Hey, I got lots of videos coming out over on that Game Place. We did a special live event about Nintendo Direct earlier this morning. I wasn't there personally, but I made sure it all went well. I've got videos coming out every day because this guy makes me do it, and I've got more and more stuff. I'm getting ready apparently to put together the new intro for season 4, and
we forgot about that.
Yeah,
we're massively professional, and we get things done real quick.
Yep. So I'm very excited about that, and I'm also excited to add people's names to the new season 4 supporters. Very excited about that. So we'll get that done. I'll use the same creepy lady clapping that everybody loves.
Oh yeah, I like that. That's fun. It's good. Weird. Nick, what you got going
on? Tonight I will actually be on World Class Bullshitters starting at 7 Central with Jeff Hicks and Andrew from Ripperverse. That'll be at 7 tonight. We'll be talking about all the petition stuff and the Acolyte nonsense garbage, some of that. Then this Thursday, of course, every Thursday night, 7 o'clock Central, our Thursday live stream, and then Friday afternoon EBN cast at 2 o'clock Central Time. And man, we are down 60 subs for the month of August. So if any of you guys out there have not subbed to Echo Base Network, come give us a sub.
How did that happen?
No clue. Yeah, we are down 60 for the month of August. We're in a negative on subs for the month of August, not a positive.
I mean, that's odd.
Yeah, we were up thousands.
I know.
Over
July,
May, June, and July.
Yeah.
And then the month of August, we're down we're negative 60. I don't know if YouTube was just purging people. I have no idea.
Probably. Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we will be back on Thursday, starting 2 hours earlier than what we started today. That is, 11 Pacific Standard Time, 2 Eastern Standard Time, I think, on Thursday.
Yep, exactly.
And 8 Central Time, I think. 7 UK time. I don't bloody know. One of those things. We'll be back on Thursday. You know it. This is your favorite podcast. So you know when we're going live. As we said during the stream, if you want to be included in the closing credits, become a Patreon of the channel. You do get some other benefits, like it's not just that, but it is a really cool way to get your name included on a pretty regular basis, actually. Like you'll always be there in the credits. Yeah, as long as you're a patron, basically. So anyway, thank you so much, guys. We'll be back Thursday. I'm tired. My foot hurts. Cheers.
Bye, guys.